into another edition of the Young Guns podcast. This time on my channel, I'm here joined by my co-host, The Hub. We're going to be here talking about everything New York Giants and maybe other topics in the NFL so far today. Is pretty much what we do on this show. But I'm very excited to get into this because we got a lot to talk about, including some Giants roster moves made today. One that I kind of expected a little bit just because of our issues at wide receiver, and a lot of people were like rampant on Twitter and Instagram about Dante Pettis. But before we get into that, want to give a quick shout out to my boy The Hub. What's going on, man?
What's up, KB? How you doing, man? Shout out to everybody that's gonna tune in here eventually or watching on the replay. It's a crazy time right now. Just want to say, I hope everybody's being safe. You know, with election time, stuff be crazy. I just wanted to get that out the way. You guys know me and Kid, but we don't really get political, but don't do anything stupid and stay safe. I want to say that. And then to the wide receiver news, if you want to hop in that immediately. I mean, with Dante Pettis, man.
Yeah, Dante Pettis. The Giants just picked him up off of waivers, and this is a very interesting pickup for me. I know a lot of people are on board with this. I am on board with it as well. I mean, we need help at the wide receiver position, anyway. But my only issue with Dante Pettis is that he gets hurt just as often as Sterling Shepard does. I mean, this guy cannot stay on the field. This is part of the reason why they had to cut ties with him. When he's on the field, he's actually a pretty good threat. You know, he's a guy that kind of plays like a Darius Slayton almost. He's a burner. He's a guy that just runs down the field a lot. So I like Dante Pettis. I love what he brings to the New York Giants. My only issue is, can the guy stay healthy? This is a guy that's like a former second, third round pick, kind of a high mid round pick. And he just didn't work out in San Francisco. You would think that he would have being that San Francisco's worst position is wide receiver. Obviously, if you look at his stats aren't spectacular either. So we never took advantage of his time over there with a terrible wide receiver room. So I don't imagine he's going to put much much stock into our wide receiver room either. But interested to get your thoughts, Hub.
So, shout out to the people that are now tuning in. TSM Schroeder. I'm just saying TSM because I wouldn't know how to pronounce that. Steven Evans. Steven Evans is somebody I haven't seen here in a minute, bro. What's up?
Yeah. What's going on, Steven Evans?
Kevin Cronin. To answer your question real quick, Nevada and Arizona or just Pennsylvania? Rafael DeLuna. So
Any state.
It depends where you look, right? So I think like on ABC, it says he's at 253 right now because they didn't give him Arizona since they're trying to recount Arizona or something. So depending on where you look, it's either going to be Nevada and Arizona or Pennsylvania or literally just Nevada, depending on where you look.
If he doesn't have, if they took away the call on Arizona, that means he would need more than Nevada because Nevada's only 6. So
no, if they took away the call, then it would be Nevada and Arizona.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, either way, Pennsylvania. That's why everybody's talking about Pennsylvania right now. Depending on which channel you look, everybody's talking about that because that's like the largest one left. Right. But to get back to the Giants and Dante Pettis, here's the thing. I saw on Twitter the 49ers released them, and in my head I was like, oh, I didn't know they released them. Maybe the Giants should take a look at them. 5 seconds later, I see all the tweets rolling. The Giants sign him. Here's my thing: is he even an upgrade at the wide receiver position? Like, depending on where you look, because everybody's assuming that he's going to be replacing Golden Tate, but I don't think we're eating Golden Tate's cap until the season ends because nobody wants to trade for him and either way to trade deadline's up. So realistically speaking, I don't think we're eating that cap until the season ends. So he would be an upgrade to whoever our number 4 was, I'm going to guess. Yeah, but I don't think he's an upgrade to Golden Tate.
I don't think he's upgraded Golden Tate, but he's definitely an upgrade over Austin Mack, So as of right now, I think he's an upgrade. I to be honest with you, I don't even care if we keep him next year. I just want wide receiver help this year to give.
Let's keep it real. Do you even think he's going to be here past this season? No, I don't think
absolutely not. Absolutely. Especially if Dave Gettleman is gone, nobody's keeping Dante Pettis around. You want Sterling Shepard and Dante Pettis on the same field. They both get hurt just as often. So I definitely wouldn't do it. But I'm only on board with Dante Pettis right now because just to give Daniel Jones a better, better.
It's what Edward Chan is saying right now. We need depth.
Right. It's just we need depth. And if you really want to see, guys, if this is another quarterback year for the New York Giants where we draft a third straight quarterback and a second straight quarterback and with a high pick, then you have to give Daniel Jones all you got. Give him all the weapons you can. Help him out the best you can. Try to support him the best you can. And if he doesn't work out with all the help you're giving him, then he's not the guy. So, if you really want to see, if you're really, kind of indecisive on should you move on from Daniel Jones, should you get Trevor Lawrence, should you keep Daniel Jones, then you have to give him the best weapons possible. Unfortunately, it seems like Dante Pettis seems to be the guy. And so, hopefully that helps Daniel Jones. But if it doesn't, I don't care if Dante Pettis stays or not. I really don't care.
Shout out to Adrian Tomayoso in the chat. He's asking, what's all the stuff I'm hearing with Golden Tate? I'm gonna let KB get to that in a second because I'm sure that's gonna be a topic. We heard that Judge spoke to him.
Yeah, I heard about it. Let me
and that Judge was like, yo, listen, there's basically no room in this team right now with everything going on for you to be going out here and calling for targets like that. I will say though, I understand Golden Tate. Listen, the dude has a point. And
he absolutely has a point.
I pointed out to KB during that show. I'm like, yo, was that like the first target that we had some? And it was like, yes. And the touchdown was just the second target. Not even second. Well, it was the second catch, but yeah, it was just the second target to Golden State all game. He has a point because I see a lot of people on Twitter getting on his case, or more particularly his wife's case, because she's getting on Twitter acting like how you remember how Ayesha Curry acted after Steph lost the finals in 2016. That's what it reminds me of. A lot of people are getting on the Tate family's cases, but I'm just like, hey, they got a point. This man is on a relatively big contract. He is probably the most reliable. And a lot of people don't agree with that, but it's the truth. He's probably the most reliable wide receiver out there for the Giants, and he's not getting utilized, and it makes no sense. Yeah, sure, the Giants want to trade him. There's no secret about that. But until you actually trade the guy, and now it's not going to happen because the deadline passed, but until you actually trade the guy, use him as much as you can. You're only doing a disservice to him and the team. So he has a point. I just want to say that Golden Tate has a point, but I am glad that Judge spoke to him. He was like, yo, there's no need for you to go putting it out on social media and all that.
Right, exactly. And that just seems immature to me. And, Golden Tate has had some outbursts before. He has some beef with Russell Wilson as well. And, he's got beef around the league. Yeah, the Rams, and so, he's got beef everywhere. And that just seems immature to me. And his wife, I get trying to be supportive, but just think about PR with PR moves. I'm sure the PR team had to have a spat with his wife, so, and that's not very Giant. Like the Giants don't really have any issues when it comes to that, but I get his frustration 100%.
I just want to say, KB, do you remember a couple weeks, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago on one of the Young Guns podcast episodes, I don't know if you remember this, I said, I don't like the way that Tate looks. He looks like he doesn't want to be on the Giants anymore. I said this 4 or 5 weeks ago. Do you remember that? Because now I'm getting that feeling now more than ever. And I think I don't think I called it back then because I think it developed now just because he's not being used. Back then, maybe I was just seeing something, but now it's actually legit. And it's because he's not being used. I don't think he wants to be here anymore. That's kind of sad because honestly, he didn't do anything wrong up until he started not being utilized.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's a veteran receiver. And this is the issue when you have a rebuilding team. Everybody's like, well, sign this guy. And I always say, yeah, but it's not Madden. When you sign these veteran players, they want to win too. They don't want to, their careers are dwindling down. They don't want to wait for a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want to go out there and win games. So when you have a rebuilding team, you're going to get these veteran players very frustrated about what's going on. That's why it says here in this article by Sports Illustrated, it has Golden Tate screaming at a camera. I guess I didn't see that on there.
Oh yeah, no, that was during the game.
I didn't see it I didn't see it on the game, but he said, "Throw me the ball into the camera." So
that was right after he caught the touchdown. He didn't do a celebration. He just looked into the camera and screamed that.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't even notice that.
Once again, that was just his second target all game. It ended up being a touchdown.
Right.
And in Philadelphia, his second target in Philadelphia, which was his last catch, just the second one was a touchdown. So
you remember when Sterling Shepard was on that sluggo route and Daniel Jones just totally missed him. Remember what I said, that Golden Tate was wide open. If you had no confidence if you didn't think you were going to complete that, just get it out to Golden Tate. That's an easy first down plus some, So, he was getting open throughout the game. Golden Tate was, I assume. So if he's out here saying, throw me the ball, it's obvious he was probably getting open. And it seems like the Giants don't really use them on like intermediate routes, probably like a short routes as a dump off or a last read. That's probably what I'm assuming. I didn't get to look at the film yet. But that's what it seems like, and he's probably frustrated that he's always the last read. He's not going on these crossing routes, these long ball routes, because he's a veteran. He's Sterling Shepard, obviously younger, faster. Same thing with Darius Slayton. So having them two back really helps the
The thing
Giants
with Tate, you
downfield.
said it with Sterling Shepard, and I agree with you. Shepard is that guy like that could catch it anywhere. Tate is still that guy. He could also
Yeah,
catch it anywhere. I mean, he always seems every year to have one amazing catch. Last year was the Patriots.
yeah,
This year was it Dallas or was it Philly? That one amazing
Philly.
catch on the sideline.
Yeah,
So it's like he's still very reliable. And once again, it's stupid on the Giants' part and the coaching staff. If you know you're going to get rid of him, fine, but don't stop using him while he's on the team. He's still on
right.
the team, so use him as much as you can.
And I sort of wish that these type of things happened before the trade deadline, like if we had a Sunday game maybe, and then the Giants had time to try to deal him. Because at this point, if we got Dante Pettis off of waivers, I would be fine with getting rid of Golden Tate, because I always said that, I just want the Giants to get weapons. That's why I didn't want Golden Tate to leave, because he's the most consistent receiver. But now that we have Shepard back and Slayton back and adding Dante Pettis, I wouldn't mind Golden Tate leaving, just because that seems like his production has hit a rock bottom since Sterling Shepard came back. So, that being said, it sucks. It's very unfortunate. I'm sure I'm with him on this, but at the same time, you're the most veteran presence on the offense right now, in my opinion, and you shouldn't have done that. This is a young quarterback in his second year. He's got enough scrutiny going on right now. He doesn't need any animosity between his teammates and his wide receivers. You're supposed to be the guy that he throws to. Now he's really not going to throw to you. You think you're just going to say, throw me the ball in the camera and embarrass him on primetime TV, and he's just going to come out next week and say, you're right, Golden, I'm just going to throw you the ball?
So here's the thing, right? Because you brought that up, this is something I saw on Twitter, just Giants Twitter, Giants Reddit, Giants Instagram, Giants media in general. A lot of people saying Tate was brought in as the guy to be the anti-OBJ, the veteran presence that has good playoff experience and is not toxic to the team. And people have used that example of saying throw me the ball along with his, general, behavior over the past couple of weeks, or demeanor, I guess I should say, to say that he's not the anti-OBJ because one of Odell's biggest criticisms while he was here in New York was demanding the ball so much. What do you think about that? That's been going around a lot in the Twitterverse and stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and for the most part, I think Golden Tate was a good guy. Like, I followed him on social media, and he was so rah for the Giants. Like, more, I was like, okay, I was like, dang, that he's really really for the Giants. But now it just seems like it's going downhill. Just like I said, it's because
it comes with bad experiences.
Exactly. And on top of that, you're a veteran guy. You're at the, past your prime, in your well in your 30s already. And you're playing for a rebuilding team that really is looking for the future and really doesn't really care about the now. In certain aspects. So, it's just a situation. I think he should have known that, though. When you're signing to a team like the Giants, this team was struggling at wide receiver. This team was, getting a new quarterback in here. He should have known this already. I don't know why he thought that we were going to be some world beaters or we're going to be productive as a team. But if you really
here's the thing, right? We don't know if he's thinking that. That's just one possible explanation.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's legit just frustrated at the fact that he knows they're considering dealing him, yet they're disrespecting him by not even using him while he's on the roster. I think that's what's getting him angry.
Possibly. But yeah, if the Giants knew what was going on with him and he was acting like that the game before against the Eagles, then maybe they should have dealt him then.
Well, here's the thing. There's multiple reports that came out saying Gelman did try and deal. He called up multiple teams, but the reason nobody's fighting is because of his contract, which is why I'm like, if he is gone, it's going to be at the end of the season. And I'm still for. I don't know how many people are still for this. I'm still for going into Golden, bringing Golden State into the office and be like, yo, are you down to restructure? If you're not, all right, then I'm going to cut you. Because I would not mind keeping him.
I would not mind keeping him either. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. So, I don't know. It's very interesting topic. And, we don't really have these type of issues as New York Giants fans, ever since Odell left. And even before Odell, we never really had issues like that. But it seems like wide receivers are becoming more and more like divas anyway. And I'm not putting blame on him. I understand his frustrations, but it just seems like it's always coming from the wide receivers.
Yeah.
It's always.
I just want to say shout out to everybody that just tuned in. Bada Bing, Edward, Kid Blues Head, Toast, King Sean, the Washington fan, and Andre. Andre says, "When is our rookie safety coming back?" Now, this has been a topic everybody's been asking about because we expected him to be back
I
by now.
forgot
Xavier
about him.
McKinney.
I legit forgot about him. Except like last week when somebody mentioned him and they were talking about Jabril Peppers and McKinney. I was like, oh my God, I forgot that we have McKinney.
I just want to say, Kid Blue, the defense last night, and I said this in my reaction video. Every week I say to myself, this defense is going to get worse because it's compare how injured we are this week to how healthy we were week 1. There's no way, there's no possible explanation that the defense is better now than it was week 1, but it is. And every week I'm like, we're more injured. We're getting younger and younger because we're more injured. And teams are getting more and more time to figure out Patrick Graham. And Patrick Graham's like, nah, bro, I'm one of the best in the game. They're not figuring me out.
Yeah.
This defense is simply amazing. And all credit goes to Graham now because you see what he's doing with such little talent. Imagine that with Xavier McKinney on the field now instead of Nate Ebner or somebody.
I really want to give a huge shout out to Patrick Graham, not only what the job he's doing on defense, but more specifically how he's able to get a pass rush with just 4 guys. I mean, and these guys aren't even top tier pass rushers, all right? Like Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Thompson, Leonard Williams, like throughout.
I would say Leonard Williams is having a good year, but I'm giving that all to Patrick Graham.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, and then throwing Kyler Fackrell in there. Granted, he worked with him in Green Bay, so obviously that works there. But other guys out there, we've got nobody there in the edge rush right now. We just signed Jabal Sheard, and he's getting pressure as well. Like, we don't need to send a big blitz, and that's something that James Betcher was always doing. He was sending blitzes from everywhere, and it was leaving holes all over the defense, and it was allowing other quarterbacks to just pick us apart. Because if we had a corner blitz, all the quarterback needs to do was hit where the corner was supposed to be at before he blitzed, then easy chunk yards there. But it's awesome when you just need to send 4 guys, because that means you allow all the other guys to go back in coverage and you don't have to worry about the pass rush. And Kyler Fackrell has been the MVP at the edge rush edge rushing and pass rushing so far this season. And I really give it to Patrick Graham this year, man. What he's doing with the linebacking core as well. Devontae Downs didn't have a great start to the year, but he played a lot better, especially last week. You even said, "Oh my God, was that Devontae Downs?"
Yeah, because I have no faith. I still got to be convinced, but he performed better than I expected.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm seeing is that a lot of discipline on the defense. A lot of discipline. We're seeing Isaac Yiadom was knocking down balls, and he did that against the Rams one time as well. Had a perfect place and knocked down a ball. James
He's learning from the best in the game, James Bradbury, bro.
James Bradbury doing the same thing on the other side, and then we saw Devontae Downs do it right over a guy and avoiding a penalty. I don't know how the hell he did that. If you remember the play I'm talking about, but he went right over somebody, had no contact, just knocked the ball away.
Of course, James Bradbury is probably the biggest story. This guy's performing so good that don't quote me, but I think a couple weeks ago I saw that he was in voting for Defensive Player of the Year. He could be a player that's in voting for Defensive Player of the Year, as bad as the Giants is, because of how great of how great James Bradbury, his individual performances. And of course, shout out to Blake Martinez, my guy, but Blake Martinez, he is somebody that I am every week. I'm looking, and he's somebody that anybody on the team I expect to at some point take a little bit dip in his performance, because it's not that hard to make a middle linebacker look bad, especially in pass coverage. It's not that hard. You just got to blaze him a couple of times over in the slot or with the tight end somehow, some way. And I give a lot of credit to Martinez, but now I'm giving a good amount of credit to Graham as well. He's keeping it in check. Him and Bradbury are staring at that top performance that they've been since the beginning of the season. They ain't dipping. Yeah. You could argue maybe they even accelerating a little bit, but they're staying there. They're so consistent.
Blake Martinez is having a phenomenal year this year, and he was very confident coming out of Green Bay. When he came to New York, he was like, listen, I'm going to play my best football here because they're going to allow me to do whatever I want, and back in Green Bay, they didn't. And I was like, okay, all right, everybody says that, right? Every player says that, I'm going to be better, and, I fit this place better, and whatever, go Big Blue, whatever, right? I didn't believe it. And when he started playing out there on the field, I'm like, oh my God, this guy, Blake Martinez, is great. Like, not only is he just like a tackle machine, not only is he racking up tackles, he's actually there in pass coverage. He's actually there with the pass rush. How many? He has like 2 or 3 sacks already. He's having a great year so far, and he's been one of the most consistent guys. Like Blake Martinez, I don't know how much tackle for losses he has, but he has got a lot already. I know that for sure.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He has been killing the run game insanely. Like, how many times have it looked to be a possible hole opener between the tackles, and the running back just runs into a brick wall, and that is Blake
Because
Martinez.
that's at the end of the day, that's still what he's best at. That is still his forte. And by the way, shout out to AJ Marshall in the chat. This just speaks to how good Bradbury is. Bradbury didn't have his best game last week. Here's the thing: I think last week was his worst week, and it was still a really good week. And the only reason I say it was his worst week is that I think he had 2 back-to-back penalties, and that just tells you how good he's been this year. That game was his worst game against the Bucs, against the high-powered Bucs offense. That was his worst game.
I would tell you that he actually played a decent performance against the Bucs. He gave up a touchdown to Mike Evans. I mean, Mike Evans is a touchdown machine, so I get that. And he had a couple penalties as well. But I would say his probably worst performance was week 1. But he's been amazing, and that's good because he's been amazing ever since then. You know, he hasn't become a liability. You know, he got his bad game out the way. Now he's playing well here. You know, I really love what James Bradbury is doing. I'll tell you right now, I can't take credit for James Bradbury at all because I thought James Bradbury was going to be. I thought James Bradbury was going to be a decent corner. You know, I said that he was going to have some really good games, have some really bad games. Like, you know, Janoris Jenkins, right? Janoris Jenkins sometimes looks like an all-pro guy. And sometimes you go around and he's giving up. He's the liability on the defense. You know, I thought James Bradbury was going to be like that. And that's why I was kind of upset that he was the third highest paid corner in the league. And I'm like, look what he did in Carolina. He had some good games, some bad games, but he absolutely is shutting my mouth. I mean, the dude is playing phenomenal. I hope it continues to go this way. You know, we all know what happened with Janoris Jenkins in 2016. He was, you know, known as a top 5 corner in the NFL, and then after that he dwindled off. So hopefully James Bradbury remains this way. And I'll tell you right now, I would not be opposed to re-signing him after his 3-year contract is up.
I'll be opposed. We gotta re-sign him and Martinez. We have to re-sign them.
That's what I love.
They're defensive leaders. They're in their primes. I want them to be Giants until the end of their careers.
And that's what I love about the contracts that Dave Gettleman really made, because they're 3-year contracts and they're team friendly. After 2 years, you're able to cut these guys. So and if they don't work out, but if they do work out, you're right back at the table. Sure, you may have to pay them more. I don't know, depending on their production. But at the same time, you get to keep your players. That it's just good business that way. It's just very good business, and I love how he structured his contracts. If Dave Gettleman is fired, I'm really hoping that the next GM structures contracts like Dave Gettleman does, and to be honest, draft like Dave Gettleman does. Okay, so I say what you want about his
listen,
draft.
I would love, because he is getting fired. I would love if he could somehow stay on as a draft consultant. If that's right, a draft consultant. Like, hey, yo, DG, bro, we need you to look at these couple players, man. Who you got?
It's so funny how people always say, "Well, Dave Gettleman can't draft. Look at his drafts." But then after the draft is over, the same people are like, "Oh my God, that was a fantastic draft." What does that tell you? That tells you that he knows how to draft.
And he drafted Bradbury.
Right, and he drafted
Bradbury to replace Norman, and everybody criticized him back in 2016 for that as well.
Yeah, and Bradbury even took his number too, 24 back over there. So, you know, that what does that tell you about Dave Gettleman? He drafts the right players. Everybody's excited about those players, after the draft, and they don't work out. That's a product of just bad coaching throughout throughout the season, and a lack of production and growth. That is not Dave Gettleman's fault. Dave Gettleman does not do anything after the season except manage the team and manage the roster, help build the roster, give the coach the best to work with, and he does. In my honest opinion, he does. Picking up Lorenzo Carter in the 3rd round was an absolute steal. Picking up B.J. Hill in the 3rd round was an absolute steal, in my opinion.
Revisionist history, people that love revisionist history would say, instead of Lorenzo Carter, we could have had Fred Warner. And, of course, Fred Warner is a way better player than Lorenzo Carter. But at that point in the 3rd round, nobody knew Fred Warner was going to be that. So that's why
that's my thing.
It's that doesn't matter, because they were both mocked as 3rd rounders. In fact, Lorenzo was mocked as a 2nd rounder. So it's like, I can't really get on board with that.
He was mocked late in those mock drafts. He was mocked all the way to like Tennessee, like 29 or something like that, in the 1st round. You know, he was mocked that high. So when you look at, obviously these scouts really loved Lorenzo Carter. So, hindsight's 2020, all that stuff, so you look back at these things, you can't blame Dave Gettleman by looking back in the past and say he should have done this, he should have done that. You have to look at this time, what was the right move for him to make, what was the most logical move to make, and I think he made all the right moves. I honestly think he did.
Yeah,
You
by
know?
the way, I saw this tweet. Dexter Lawrence, Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson, and Leonard Williams, of course, are three starting inside defensive linemen, basically the core of that defense. All three of them are top 15 inside defensive linemen ranked right now in the NFL. Just want to put that out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're having listen, me and you both said this. The strength of this team is interior defensive line. Even before the season started. I mean, this interior defensive line I knew was going to be absolutely great. You give Dexter Lawrence another year under his belt. Dalvin Tomlinson is strong in the middle, and then you give him that pass rushing interior guy like Leonard Williams, and magic happens.
Which is why I'm going to be so sad when it breaks up this offseason. Because unless Leonard Williams taking that $12 million contract, which is what he's worth, and unless Dalvin Tomlinson is taking, to be honest, a $8 to $10 million contract, which is what Dalvin Tomlinson is worth, one of them is gone. And I'm still keeping Leo over Dalvin. Even if I got to play a little bit more than 12 mil, I'm still keeping Leo over Dalvin.
Yeah, let's see what happens with Leo. But I mean, I will keep Leo as well, just because of the importance of the position, right? My only thing is that I just don't want to pay $20 million. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it.
Listen, here's the thing. If he's still asking for over 15, 16, then no. Yeah. I can eat an extra 4, an extra 3, because once again, I think he's worth 12. So I could eat an extra $3 million a year if he's give me 15 mil a year. I can eat that a little bit, right? Above that, not so much. Just because he is more valuable to the team than Dalvin Tomlinson. And Dalvin Tomlinson, it's sad to say, because he's already extremely undervalued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, Dalvin Tomlinson is going to come to the table at $14 million. So if we get Leonard Williams at $15 million, that would be a great deal, right? You're getting a player that has a better, position of importance. This guy gets sacks. This guy helps stop the run, and you're getting him for $15 million as opposed to Dalvin Tomlinson, who can do something against the pass, but really is the run stuff for the nose tackle for $14 million. I'm taking Leonard Williams all the way.
Exactly. And I saw somebody brought it up earlier, so I'm just going to say, I think it was Bradley. Shout out to Bradley in here. We got a bunch more people in here as well. Mm-hmm. He says, I was completely correct on Andrew Thomas, yo. And hey, man, if you were completely correct, so were me and KB. Because let's talk about Andrew Thomas and the offensive line in general. So after the Philadelphia Eagles game, I made a video on just about the game. And in that video, I was like, damn it, Andrew Thomas, don't make me lose faith in you. You've looked terrible the past 3 weeks, and I'm not giving up on you yet because you're a rookie. After I made that video, a day later, Mark Colombo dropped his press conference where he said, trust me, everybody, you're going to see a way more consistent and better Andrew Thomas from this point in the season onwards. First game since that press conference, we saw the best version of Andrew Thomas all season. He graded out with his highest pass protection grade, one of his highest run blocking grades. But overall, he looked, in my opinion, the best that he's looked all season. I even said that at halftime, remember? I was like, I can't even, where I was like, what should the Giants continue doing in the second half? I'm like, I don't even have anything to say about the offensive line. They've been great. You know what I'm saying? So Andrew Thomas had his best game all season. Definitely his best game in the past 3-4 weeks where he's been struggling. And now he's getting back to what I thought he was going to be coming in to the year. And that he just looks good.
It looks great. He looks great right now. And we've said this, and we stress this, right? We stress it. He's going to have bad games where he looks like a bust. But do not flat out say, I never, ever said, oh, man, I think Andrew Thomas I think we made the wrong move. Never. I know what I saw on film. And I know that there was an anonymous guy out there that said, oh, I don't know what happened to Andrew Thomas. He's like, he lost his punch. He looks, it looks like the game is too fast for him. That's all rookie mistakes. That is all natural in a rookie.
People are treating him like he already has 3 years under his belt.
Right, exactly. If you look at Andrew Thomas, and I'm not going to get too into the film because I honestly didn't do too much film on Andrew Thomas specifically, but just by watching the games, just by watching the limited film I have watched on him, Andrew Thomas just looks like he's going too fast. It looks like he was moving too fast. He needed to slow down, calm down. He was, off his kick slides, just going right back and just punching everywhere. Somebody, that anonymous coach said that he was punching everywhere like he was a boxer, and just missing on guys, whiffing on guys. And, if you slow down, you look at all look at all the top tier, pass protectors in the NFL, like Joe Thomas. I used to love watching Joe Thomas. The guy was so smooth, right? He was like I don't know how to explain it. He was just, everything was just so smooth and coordinated that it looked like the meanest defensive lineman couldn't get past him because he knew the game was slowed down for him. He knew every move that was coming. He just looked like Eat Man.
Yeah, and real quick, KB, bro, that same thing I've been saying. I'm like, the problem with Andrew Thomas when I made that video, I said him and DJ have the same problem. They try to do too much. And then when Mark Colombo, this is how you know that we're right, that we're seeing the right things. Mark Colombo, one of the things he said in that press conference when he's like, you're gonna see more consistent Thomas, is that he said, I think the guy's just trying to do too much. Like, everybody's seeing it, and I think it just got through Thomas's head, and I hope it stays there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I hope this wasn't a one-time thing. I hope it stays there because you went up against JPP, who I think it's crazy to say this, but in 2020, JPP is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and he's underrated because people don't realize he's currently one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. And he did great against JPP. He even had a couple pancakes on him.
Yeah, he did. And by the way, shout out to JPP. I still love him as a player, and dude freaking got his revenge game. He definitely did. He had himself a freaking game. Not always, with Andrew Thomas, but especially out there in the open field, that guy was moving. All right. So just want to give a quick shout out to JPP because I do miss him a little bit. So
I miss him a lot.
I miss him a lot. Yeah.
Especially now that he's actually playing outside linebacker. That just stings so much more. People say Leonard Williams trade was Dave Gettleman's worst thing. Nah, the worst move Dave Gettleman ever made was probably like his first move was trading JPP. Shout out to Mikey C, and I agree with this completely. I don't use it as an excuse for our struggles, but it's completely true. People have been treating the Giants this year like they're a veteran team, but they're the youngest team in the league.
I made a video recently, my most recent video, about Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd.
I didn't get to watch that. What did they say exactly?
They were praising Joe Judge. They said that this team, both of them said that this team have a chance in the NFC East. Like, they have a chance. Like, they look great, and that the record is not even in. Stephen A. Smith said,
what did Stephen A. say, bro?
Yeah, he said the record is not even indicative of how the team is performing right now, which means that he was saying that this team is 1-7. They're not playing like one. He said both of them said every time they watch the Giants, they see improvement, they see fight, they're fighting for Joe Judge, they're in these games. They mentioned that the past they had 4 losses in this game by a total by less than 4 points, in each of the 4 games, and they also had 2 games in which they lost by 10 points or less. So you look at, what was it, 6 games so far this season out of 8 where you lose by 10 points or less. That's 2 possessions, So they mentioned that type of stuff, and they said that they're playing for Joe Judge, and this team looks good. And I said it. I didn't say it on air, actually, but I said it when I was talking to my friends. But I was saying that this team actually looks like the best in the NFC East, and I wasn't ready to admit that. But without Dak Prescott there, with Carson Wentz looking like complete trash, and Washington just being Washington, the Giants look like the best team in the East, and unfortunately, they're on the bottom of the division right now.
I did
because we could be on top.
I did actually say that. I was on Philly Notions podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I actually said that. I said, listen, we might have the worst record right now, but I think we play like the best team. And at the time, Dallas was on top. I was like, Dallas has the best record right now, but they play like the worst team. That because we were talking NFC general stuff. And I don't know if Philly Notion's opinion has changed since then because it's been a couple of weeks. But then him, a Philly fan, a Philly YouTuber, go check him out, by the way, guys. He said, yeah, the Giants play like one of the best teams in the East. Now, obviously, he didn't say the best because he's a Philly fan. He thinks Philly plays like the best. But he says the Giants are right up there with Philly. Which I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that as we play like the best team in the league.
Yeah. I'm a huge believer in the future for this team. I'm a huge believer in the future. I think
especially the defensive side, man. Jesus.
I honestly think now the Giants are making moves like claiming Dante Pettis, like getting Jabbar Sheard, like making a couple trades, trading Marcus Golden. I think Dave Gettleman has one more year. I think the ownership is saying, okay, you have one more year. Because I honestly think if Dave Gettleman really thinks his job is over, why is he making these moves? Why would he even be trying to help the team in any sort of way? I wouldn't be. If I know already my job is my it's over for me. I'm not going to sit here and I'm petty. Maybe that's just me, but I'm not going to sit here and make the moves and go out my way to trade players, acquire players, get players off of waivers, sign veteran guys. I'm not going out my way to do that if I know I'm going to be fired.
Here's the thing, right? If somehow, some way he actually has another year, which would low key be a miracle to me, not everybody's gonna feel that way, which is why I'm gonna say this. If by some miracle Dave Gettleman has another year and he sticks out for another year, ownership, Giants organization, everybody that's related to the New York Giants organization, make the fans shut up, bro, and do not listen to no matter what the fans say.
Yes.
Do not, even us, do not listen to us. Just do your job, bro. Shut out the media, shut out Twitter, shut out Facebook, shut out Instagram, YouTube, anywhere that a Giants fan has access to the internet to get to you. Do not listen to anything they say.
Exactly.
All right, because that's gonna mess it up. As soon as which they have been listening to the fans, which is partly why I think we're into this mess. We've spoken about that at length before. If he somehow has another year, do not listen to anything that the fans say. Just do your job and do football, man.
Right, and one thing I was thinking about if we keep Dave Gettleman is that there's no way we're getting a quarterback in this year's draft if we keep Dave Gettleman. The only way we get a Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance,
if we have the first overall, that's it.
Right. Well, yeah, I would say that too. But if we have the third overall pick this year and we have a new GM, there is a chance that we get Justin Fields. You know what I'm saying? But if we keep Dave Gettleman and we have that third pick, we're not getting a quarterback. We're gonna get a guy that to help this team, and they're gonna support Daniel Jones. So I guess people that want a new quarterback are probably gonna be upset that we keep Dave Gettleman because they want a new quarterback. So just letting people know that.
Shout out to Jacob Bialkowski. Yo, my bad, bro. He says, "How old are you guys?" I've been seeing this in a recent streams. Any new people that tune in, I would think that I am younger than you think, and Kid Blue is older than you think.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm 22, so I'm gonna be 23 at the end of this month. So
yeah, I'm gonna be 20 at the end of this one. There you go.
Yeah. So yep. The young guns.
That's why that's the name. But speaking of the draft, and you said you're excited for the future. I shifted and said I'm more so excited for the defense's future. Let's shift into that a little bit because it relates to what I'm about to say. Mm-hmm. No matter what happens, even for those of you that think we need a new quarterback, do not take the quarterback this year unless you have the first overall and unless it's Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be that transcendent generational talent that comes, once every year. Last year it was Joe Burrow, and man, does Joe Burrow look good. The year before that was Kyler Murray, and now Kyler's slowly starting to pan out. The year before that, though, it was Baker Mayfield, has yet to work out. The year before that, it was Jared Goff. I mean, he took them to a Super Bowl, but honestly, other than that, has yet to work out. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is because sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But unless it's Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 overall, don't take the quarterback. And you know what you do? You add the 2 or 3 pieces on the defense that makes it elite, and in my opinion, top 5 in the NFL. You add a free agent pass rusher, because I don't trust any of them in the draft. And then you add either a middle linebacker or a cornerback, number 2 from the draft. Bam, defense is set, and focus on fixing the offense. Don't let the fact that even though this was the only game, and it's so sad, this was the only game our wide receivers were getting consistently open. It's just that Daniel Jones was trash and he could not hit them consistently. Don't let that distract you from the fact that it's the only game they got consistently open. So we still need a number 1 weapon, and we still got to figure out that center position right now. So fix the offense and finish the defense. Not fix the defense, finish the defense, fix the offense this year. Get your quarterback in 2022, not in 2021. That's where I stand. If you think we need a new quarterback, either way, even if you stick with Daniel Jones, it's going to be the same thing. Finish the defense, fix the offense.
Yeah, and one thing to your point that you were saying that wide receivers were getting open last game. Why is that? The offensive line, they were playing absolutely fantastic. It's no coincidence that the Giants tested downfield the most times we've seen all year. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones wasn't able to hit them, but I haven't seen all time this year in one game that we threw the ball downfield as much as we did last week, and that was because of the good offensive line play. So if we just keep that up, we won't need star talent at wide receiver. We won't need a $20 million wide receiver like Kenny Golladay.
I would still take one in the draft, though.
Yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people, I'm already seeing in the chat, sign Kenny G. We won't need Kenny G. We won't need these guys if we build the offensive line. These guys are getting open. They proved it last week. Golden Tate was getting open, talking about throw me the ball. Darius Slayton was getting open where he could have had 2 touchdowns last week, and Sterling Shepard could have had one of his own. So these guys are getting open. These guys are one of the best. Darius Slayton's getting there, but Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, these guys are one of the top route runners in the NFL. So these guys they have the ability to get open. You got to build that offensive line. It works. The wide receivers work off of the time the quarterback has, and that's the offensive line. And I'm going to say,
Garrett, you know what? Shout out to him because I criticize him all the time. That was his best game.
That was a hell of a game he called.
That was his best
hell of a game he called. He was running the ball when he needed to, except that one particular play in the red zone where we thought that he should have ran the ball, but I think we had a penalty that helped us anyway. But that being said, I'm going to segue to Shane Lemieux.
Real quick before we get into that, because I don't want Simon Z. He asked the question a couple of times. I don't want him to scroll up really quickly. He says, "How do you guys feel about Justin Fields? Is he busting Fields or is he must-win Fields?"
No, I don't think he's a bust. I just don't think he's a dynamic team changer.
Exactly.
So I don't think he's going to be worth to be. Put.
I don't think he's somebody that if we bring to the Giants this draft that's gonna fare any better than Daniel Jones. You might ruin this. You might pull a Sam Darnold and ruin this guy's career. But Trevor Lawrence, I think, could survive it a little bit better. And also, this is my bias on my part. I got no faith in Ohio State or USC quarterbacks. So
yeah, I hate USC quarterback. I hate USC players in general. But
you were segueing into Shane Lemieux, which was perfect. Yeah. We just finished up Thomas.
Yeah, before I get to that, I just want to add a little bit on Justin Fields. I watched Justin Fields' game last week, and I'll tell you right now, I wasn't that impressed like I was when I first watched Trevor Lawrence. I wasn't that impressed with Justin Fields. So just throwing that out there, he needs to blow me away for me to say I'm going to get rid of like Kyler Murray was to the Arizona Cardinals. He's a guy that blows you away. So I need Justin Fields to really blow me away before I even consider getting rid of Daniel Jones for Justin Fields. But Shane Lemieux, perfect segue here. We're talking about the offensive line. We're talking about the growth and progression of Andrew Thomas, and I think a huge part of that was building a sort of a chemistry with Shane Lemieux. He had a really good game, especially run blocking. The guy he was one of the big key factors of why it was so easy for us to run right up the middle. I was thoroughly shocked. Every time we ran the ball and up the middle, we got 15 yards out of it, or the 5 or the 7 yards on first down, like the chunk yardage, beautiful chunk. When you run the ball on first down and you get 5 yards out of it, oh my God, that's probably the best situation to put yourself in.
When Mr. Walkman Alfred Morris on 50% of his carries is actually getting positive yardage, the offensive line is doing something.
Exactly. And a huge part of that was from Shane Lemieux. There's a reason why we were able to get we haven't seen that all season. We haven't seen that all season where we consistently having to run up the middle, even with Saquon Barkley there because the offensive line wasn't gelled right. But I guarantee you, Saquon Barkley was playing last night, 200 freaking rushing yards.
Why are you doing this to me, bro? Because if Saquon's playing not just last night, but basically the past 3 weeks from Dallas game to now, which is when like the offense and the team in general has kicked it up a notch. Saquon's playing in Dallas, we win without a doubt. Saquon's playing in Washington, we win by an even bigger thing because he's a Washington killer. He's playing at Eagles, we win because he's the legitimate Eagle killer. Darius Slayton was not there. And he plays yesterday. We win. So don't think about Saquon, okay?
Right now. We will be
do not make me think about Saquon, all right? That it makes me so sad.
Yeah, I know.
I just hope he has a Dalvin Cook type comeback at the very least, and at the very best, it's going to be an Adrian Peterson type comeback. Either way, Dalvin Cook just came off of a 5-touchdown game past Sunday. So for those of you that are saying AP is the only example of a running back coming back from ACL, you just got to look back to Minnesota this year. Well, technically last year was when Dalvin Cook came back. But my thoughts on Shane Lemieux, then I'm going to ask you a question that I'm pretty sure you're expecting. Shane Lemieux looked really good. He impressed me because I didn't expect it to look that good in his debut. His first ever NFL game, and the thing is, don't quote me on
this. Sue and not Vita Steve McClendon, I believe.
Either way, he was matched up on Sue for most of the game. You're talking about one of the best defensive tackles in the entire NFL, right? He's not on his prime, yes, but it's still Ndamukong Suh. And his first game ever, somehow, some way, he performed better than I expected. Don't quote me on this. I'm pretty sure he played all snaps starting at left guard, right? Because who else? Who else was in there?
Yeah, who else gonna throw
So
in
he
there?
played all snaps. That's like 70 plus snaps starting at left guard. PFF disrespected him and slimed him and gave him a 12 overall in pass protection, even though the guy, I don't know what he did. Like, I don't recall
I've
any bad
never
pass
seen
protection.
I've never seen
Yeah,
a grade that low.
yeah, I don't recall any type of bad thing that he did in pass protection. For all, to me, he was great. In run blocking, you mentioned it, he was great. So I don't know if you're gonna get off on PFF, but I'm gonna get this question out. What are we doing when Will Hernandez comes back?
Well, unfortunately, he's gonna have to remain the starter for now. But
Because let's be honest, Will
I
Hernandez
definitely
did not look anywhere near
here's
this
the
year,
thing.
at least, did not look anywhere near the performance that Shane Lemieux gave.
Here's the thing. Shane Lemieux is in those practices, even with Hernandez there, throughout the whole season. It's not like this is the first action he's getting, with first team. I'm pretty sure he's getting action. Why hasn't he been? Why did it take COVID-19 for Will Hernandez to bump Shane Lemieux up? There's got to be something that we don't know. Will Hernandez might be more competent in practice, might be more just better and consistent in practice. I don't know why Shane Lemieux hasn't been game. Maybe because he's a rookie. Who knows? And this is Will Hernandez's third year. Who knows? But I definitely think after this first game, there's going to be some competition. But do not be surprised if Will Hernandez still remains a starter just because he was a starter before that. And may take a couple of weeks for Shane Lemieux to get to gain that respect and say, hey, you got to prove more. And you're not going to just go off this first game. But I'm with you on this. I think Shane Lemieux should be given a shot. I'm very, very. I'm gonna have to look at the film just on Shane Lemieux and say, how the hell did he get it? If you have a 12 passer rate, pass blocking grade, I would think you're giving up sacks, right? I would think you're giving up sacks, like 3 sacks in one
And
game.
like I said, because I say it all the time because my mind do be slipping. So that's why I'm like, if I'm wrong, correct me. So far, ain't nobody correcting me in the chat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume I'm right. But to add on to that and shift gears, today I made a video specifically on the offensive line because I was like, I want to talk about something positive that took out from that game. That was the offensive line. It was the fact that we had 3 rookies out there as starters. Well, starters, asterisk on Matt Peart because he's still not a starter. We can get into that. But what I want to get into is Kevin Zeiler, also at that guard position, has been playing some of the best football as a Giant since he came here the past 3 or 4 weeks. He's been graded on an average our best offensive lineman. I don't think that surprises anybody on the season because he is our best offensive lineman. But specifically the past 4 weeks, he's been graded as one of the highest pass blocking offensive linemen in the league. And Kevin Zeiler is still doing great. And I've told you this before, I don't want him gone, but everybody's shopping him around because he has that value. I don't know why you want to get rid of your best offensive lineman. But it does bring up a problem, and it's a good problem that we have 3 good guards. I don't mind having that problem.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see. Call me crazy. I'm really interested to see, even though he played well at guard, this may be crazy. I want to see what he does at center.
Kevin Zeiler, not Shane Lemieux.
No, Shane Lemieux.
Okay, yeah, because that's what we thought he was gonna do, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought he was drafted for. And think about it. If you can have those 3 guards on the field at the same time, but except one of us playing center, maybe we could throw. I want to see Shane Lemieux there. Now, Shane Lemieux has to learn the cadences, has to learn protection, all that stuff. That's going to be hard. Nick Gates is obviously struggling with that. But I'm tired of Nick Gates. I am.
Oh, you finally gave up? I gave up on this man week 1, bro.
I gave up week 1, dude. I already told you guys.
I was done with this man when he stepped on the field, but he's still somehow going back to what you said, just like how it took COVID to bump Shane Lemieux up. Somehow this is Nick Gates, is still our best option at center.
Yeah. I'm going to be right back real quick. My allergies acting on my nose is going crazy. Hold on.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Joe Judge in the chat. That's what I'm talking about, bro. You're Joe Judge in the chat using that's my catchphrase right there. I'm gonna address the chat in the meantime, guys. I see King Sean has been trolling y'all since essentially he stepped in here. He's a Washington fan, and he's either a really good troll or a really delusional Washington fan because he thinks basically every player on Washington at their position is better than every player on the Giants. I saw him capping again, 100% pure cap, saying that Kendall Fuller is better than James Bradbury's. I saw another 100% pure cap saying that Bradbury can't cover Terry McLaurin. Hey, man, listen, all y'all got to do is hit back King Sean with the facts, bro. That's all I got to say, bro. Shout out to Yvette's in here, Noor in here. Let's see. Oh, y'all are just getting on the owner now and the organization. I mean, it is what it is. Nora says he's not bad. Gates is solid. Gates is solid, but it's like he makes the little mistakes a little too often. I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that every game there seems to be high snaps, and it's not just one. It's like every game there's like two or three. I think during was it Dallas or was it Washington? There was like 5 or 6 high snaps. So Nick Gates isn't terrible, but I'm still not comfortable with him there. And then he's making these small mistakes that makes me even more uncomfortable with him being there.
My thing is that, you know how you said, do we have 3 good guards? I think we have 4 good guards, but Nick Gates playing center. You know what I'm saying? I think Nick Gates is a good guard. Everybody knows my film review on him. I
Oh,
think he's a good guard.
real quick, KB, to King Sean, bro, yo, you know I love you, King Sean. You might be a Washington fan, you might be trolling us every now and again, but you're great entertainment, bro. I love you, bro.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the whole stream, the Washington King Sean has been arguing with with a couple of
you're great, bro.
our subs in
You're
here
great.
about Washington versus New York next week. But yeah, I think we have 4 good guards on the team right now. But you
Who's
know,
the
Nick
fourth
Gates
one?
is,
You were gonna say Nick Gates, right?
yeah,
Okay.
Nick Gates. I think Nick Gates is a good guard, but I at center he's just not cutting it for me, man. He's snapping the ball like Daniel Jones is Shaq, you know. So
Bro,
I'm not
I
digging
just
it.
brought that up right before you came in. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with him at center, and he makes me more uncomfortable because just he way too many high snaps. I mean, come on, you're
Yeah,
talking about like
yeah.
maybe like 4 high snaps a game. Like, what are you doing? And there was even a couple of low snaps. It's like, come on, man. The small things like that, you put me even more on edge with you, and I'm already on the edge with you.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen, you know, right off the snap, interior defender just go right past Nick Gates, and Daniel Jones is forced out the pocket, you know? So I don't want to see that anymore. And although Nick Gates is a nasty type of you know, center, or a
Which
nasty type
I
of offensive
like,
lineman,
and
which
a
I
lot of people.
love. I
Yeah, I
love
was
it.
about to
But
say a
Shane
lot of
Lemieux is
people.
also nasty though,
Yeah,
so I
I
want to
was
see what he
gonna
has
say a
there.
lot of people seem to love it. I mean, I like it. Yeah, it's great, but like that's not defining of the player you are. Key example: Will Hernandez. We forgetting that Will Hernandez in his rookie year got in a fight with Damon Harris. It's
Yeah.
he's having trouble panning out now, so that's why I like it. But I don't necessarily love it because look at Andrew Thomas, for example. He's not that type of nasty offensive lineman, but you know he's still gonna get in there. You know he's still gonna knock them down, knock them over.
Yeah. So, you know, you know, everybody's defensive of Nick Gates is like, oh, but look what he does in the run game. He's a nasty player. You know, he mauls. He's a mauler. Yeah, but so is Shane Lemieux. I mean, they're like very similar to each other. But I want to see what he can do. I really do. So
So here's nowhere with a pretty good defense. It is pretty good. I can't lie. He says, "Hey man, it's his first year in a new position."
it is, but at the same time, he's an undrafted guy and all this other stuff. And, you know, Zach Phillips, thank you so much for the $5 donation. And he asked the question, is Tate gone tomorrow? Um, I'll let you start with that one.
That
What do you
means we
think?
would because that means we cut him and we're eating that cap
Yeah.
right away. I don't think so. I think if anything, if he is gone, he's gonna be gone in the off season. Not tomorrow though, because that means we're eating cap immediately.
Yeah, Zach Phillips. When it comes to Golden Tate, I don't think he's gone tomorrow just because the trade deadline passed. They tried to trade him and they were unsuccessful in doing so. So I don't think they're going to do anything with him if they have to be forced to release him, because that would mean they'll have to eat the dead cap there, and we're already kind of entering a cap hell. You know, with about $21 million of work with next year projected. So we'll
Yeah, I
see
just
what
want to
happens
say
there.
Simon Z said something that I've always felt about Nick Gates. He said Gates is the Chad of that offensive line. He's the Chad Wheeler from last year of the offensive line. The guy that came in and performed good and everybody loves him.
That's Remember what I said in the offseason. I said the exact same thing. Nick Gates, everybody got excited for Chad Wheeler. Oh my God. I think Chad Wheeler came out of USC, didn't he? Didn't Chad Wheeler?
I don't know. I don't know.
He came out. I think he came out of USC. But Chad Wheeler, when he came out, oh man, he was ranked top 15 in the draft, and we got him undrafted. Oh, this stuff, and then he played a game, and oh my God, he's better than Bobby Hart. And we let him play games, and he was terrible, absolutely terrible after that. And then when we had Nick Gates, I said, guys, Nick Gates is the same situation. Stop loving these sleeper offensive linemen, thinking they're gonna be another David Deal. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. David Deal is hard to come by, and you're out here talking about, you know, Nick Gates.
I will say this though, because it is his first year, I'm not opposed to giving him more time to meld and gel with the offensive line, which is where I'm gonna direct to a point that Kid Blue made. And what I said earlier,
Came out of Pitt. Okay.
asterisks on Matt Peart being starter because he's still not the starter. They're not allowing this line to gel properly if they're going to continue to rotate him and Cam Fleming, which Kid Blue pointed out. I'm going to let you get into that. But then also, Judge after the game said, because of Lemieux's performance, when Will Hernandez comes back, they're going to be rotating him and Hernandez. And I'm just like, no, what are you doing? Let
I
the
hate
line
that.
melt.
I hate that. Yeah, and we talked about that in the game last week. I mean, I'm scared that the offensive line will stunt its growth because you keep rotating guys in there. And I get there are some, like, a lot of some teams do that where they rotate their guys, but not as often as the Giants are doing. Like, you're constantly seeing a change in guys. I get what they're trying to do, but this is not the preseason. Okay, this is football, right? And even though we are 1-7 right now, we're still 2.5 games out of first place.
Stop. I'm
No.
mad you. I know you didn't even mean it that way, but you just
Yeah.
brought it up, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because if we had Saquon, I hate playing hypotheticals. I don't want to do it anymore. But if we had Saquon, we would be top of the division, 4-4.
So
But
Simon Z corrected me. He's like, he meant Chad as in the meme Chad, like an alpha.
oh, okay, okay,
If
the beam.
anybody is a Chad in that, I mean, outwardly because Gates is the loudest, I guess, but I'd probably lean like Thomas or Zeitler or something.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say Zeitler for sure because he's the most experienced and he's obviously the best guy out there. He's leading by example out there. So yeah. So let's
Shout
see.
out to Calvin, the
Gates
Arizona
had no
fan in the chat.
preseason. Yeah, Mark says Gate has no preseason. Nobody had a preseason, okay? Jesus, nobody had a preseason to learn his craft and hit the ground running. Yeah, but we all knew Nick Gates. Listen, I don't want to hear about the whole new position thing because he played tackle terribly, and I don't know why everybody loved him for it. He sucked at tackle, and so I don't know. And then what's funny? What really gets me mad about Nick Gates is how much they supported him in the draft. They were complaining when we drafted Matt Peart, talking about Nick Gates is the tackle of the future. Why did we draft him that Matt Peart? I literally
So
heard
there was
that.
people that actually said that,
Yes,
and
yes,
that was
I
ridiculous.
literally. And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe they'll shut up now. No, they were complaining about us drafting Shane Lemieux, and they're saying, hey, if Shane Lemieux is going to be the center, Nick Gates is supposed to be the center.
I just want
Who
to say,
told you that?
I just want to say because of how much we are focusing on Gates, I get where Mikey C is coming from. He says stop hating. It seems like that, so let's shift from Gates. But hey, I'm just saying
I'm sorry.
I'm
No,
uncomfortable with
I'm
Gates
not
at center.
sorry at all. I don't like Gates, and I am hating on Gates. Sorry, I listen. Gates proved me right, and I'm going to take that to the bank. Okay, so there's that. Um, let's see here. Yeah, we're getting a lot of Washington and Giants beef over here. So if you want, let's shift it over to
I mean, that is the next game.
Washington. Yeah, it is the next game. Giants at Washington. And you guys know that we have a fantastic record at FedEx Field, so I'm not worried about this game whatsoever. Kyle Allen is going to get his another shot at the New York Giants. And honestly, if you ask me, I think the Giants are playing better. I think they're progressing. Ever since the Philly game was Evan Ingram. The Bucs game.
Okay, listen, the
The
Dallas
Bucs
game was
game was
refs.
right.
The Philly game was Evan Ingram. Bucks game was Daniel Jones.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the Giants are playing a lot better now. So, I'm actually very confident in this game. I actually think the Giants are going to win this game. And it's probably going to be close just because it's the Giants we're talking about, and I don't think they're going to blow anybody out this year. So, or even get close to that.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be another close game. We're going to probably see another like 20. We're going to see like a 23 to like 21 type game, man. It's going to be like that. With the Washington football team, but I honestly think we're going to win this game.
With the football team, I want to have the confidence that you have. I want to say we're going to sweep them because even at our worst, because believe it or not, this is not our worst in the past 4 years, Giants fan. 2017 still remains the worst out of the past 4 years.
Oh my God.
Even at our worst, we still play Washington really well and we still basically own the team, right? I want to say that we beat Washington. The only reason that I'm not saying that is because I really don't know what's about to happen on Sunday, but I'll list out the reasons why we should beat them. All right, we beat them last time, although granted that was a gifted win from Ron Rivera. I won't lie about that. Here's why we should win though. Our defense should shut their offense down, and our defense did that last time.
Oh
but
yeah,
they're playing better now, which is what I said makes no sense because they have more injuries now.
Yeah,
they're playing better now. James Bradbury should have multiple picks on Kyle Allen. The Giants had multiple picks on Kyle Allen last game. James Bradbury by himself should have multiple picks on him. I think somehow, some way, Leonard Williams gets through the middle of that offensive line because I think that's where their weaknesses. They have a good offensive line, but I think Leonard Williams could get through the middle of it, get through the guards in the center. But more importantly, this is what I hope. I don't think this, but what I hope is that because DJ last year played so well in FedEx Field, I hope he has some type of comeback game. I hope that what Mark Colombo did with Andrew Thomas, which was tell him to slow it down and try not to do everything at once, finally gets through Daniel Jones's head, because the coaches that have been telling him that. I hope it finally gets through his head and he calms down and he goes out there and he balls out. Either way, we should win. That's what I'm hoping happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. And Logan's Gaming Lounge also said it. You think Washington's going to put 23 on the Giants? I actually, yeah, you're right. I don't think they're going to get close. That last score, first of all, both of their touchdowns were flukes. I mean, they probably shouldn't have scored on us at all. Okay, so back in those games, they had 19 points, in that game, and I don't think they should have. No, I think the other fluke score was a field goal, not a touchdown. Before the half, before the first half ended, was it a field goal or a touchdown they got a touchdown, didn't they?
A touchdown, because that's what the Giants are known for.
Yeah, they got a touchdown. So both of those were complete flukes, and it was stupid and shouldn't have happened. And I think the Giants are going to be able to clean that up. And it's going to be hard for me to say. I don't think. Who knows? I don't think Washington may not score a touchdown on the Giants. Maybe they get their
claim.
It's bold, but they might not get a touchdown.
Because the defense is going to get tired in the fourth quarter because the offense will be squandering some stuff every other quarter.
Right, but if the offensive line continues to play how well they've been playing, which
is the next one I was going to bring up. Stay right there.
Yeah.
This is going to be the second test with this new setup of the offensive line. Going back to Washington, it's a different stuff now because Hernandez is not there, facing a really talented defensive line. Last time we played them, Chase Young was hampered. He wasn't on the field that much, and for the most part, he was matched up against Matt Peart, right?
Yeah.
Yo, if there's any games, just Jesus Christ, start Matt Peart full time. We know it's not going to happen. I don't know why, but Chase Young is going to be matched up on the right side because Montez is a better matchup on Andrew Thomas, and he did play really well against Andrew Thomas last time. So this is going to be their second test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and listen, first of all, if a lot of people say that's bold, I don't think it's that bold, honestly, because of what we did to the Buccaneers and how well we were able to match up with them. You go back to that Washington game, they should not have got. I'm sorry, I don't like playing hypotheticals. I don't like doing it anymore, but they should not have had those 2 touchdowns. If we go back into film against how we first played Washington with those, Ron Rivera going for it and obviously, not being able to stop that and those fluke calls. And by the way, that was a delay of game, that last touchdown where they basically garbage time touchdown. Yeah. That was a delay of game. And the other touchdown, I believe, was a penalty as well. The first one. So, if the Giants were to just clean that up and, now they faced them one time with this coaching staff and this player group, now they could be able to clean that up. And it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we shut out a team for touchdowns. It's not this defense is decent. It's good. It's probably good enough to hold out a team from scoring touchdowns. We do pretty well. We're a bend but do not break type of team. A lot of times guys got us and teams have to settle for field goals against us. Sometimes we give up stupid touchdowns, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities that this is like a 23-15 game and it's all field goals for Washington. It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
I'm just gonna say I gotta see it to believe it. But I want to say we're sweeping them, and maybe deep down I do believe that because we straight up, the Eagles own the Giants and the Giants own Washington, and then the Eagles and Cowboys fight for ownership over themselves. That's just how the NFC East is.
Yeah, and let's just keep it that way for now on. I mean, not for now on, just for this week that we always beat Washington, and then we'll talk about Dallas and Philly later on. But I think the Giants are going to have a good bounce back game. They feel good. Colin Cowherd said this. Forgot to mention this. Colin Cowherd said Giants fans and the Giants themselves should actually feel good about the loss against the Buccaneers. Even though as Giants fans it's heartbreaking and he doesn't understand that, It's very heartbreaking, that loss.
I can
but
see
we
where
should.
you're coming from.
Yeah, he changed my mind. When he said that, I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. But he was like, listen, you don't have Saquon Barkley. You guys probably should have won half of the games you guys lost. You guys are keeping it close. Joe Judge is doing a fantastic job. Daniel Jones, he actually is confident in Daniel Jones. He said he's 80% sure that that's the quarterback of the future for the Giants. He just needs to clean things up. And obviously, I don't want to keep going back and forth with the whole Daniel Jones thing, but Zach Phillips, thank you so much for the $5 donation. He says, let me put this on the screen. Thank you so much, Zach Phillips. He says Washington got a lucky interception in the end zone, which was not an interception. Thank you. So not only do you have 2 fluke touchdowns, right, that shouldn't have happened, but you also had a fluke interception by
the dude was out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Whole forearm out of bounds. So
and his knee, his second knee was out of bounds too.
Yes. Fantastic point that you mentioned there, Zach Phillips. And that's why I'm saying I think we are going to do away with Washington. I think we're going to manhandle them. And back to my point, Colin Cowherd came out and said that this is the best loss we had in years. And I was thinking about it. I was like, actually, I think he's right. When have we ever lost the game? And we were like, that's actually a decent loss. I'm not mad that we lost that game that bad.
But the thing is, I am mad that we lost that game.
It was heartbreaking. It was hard because we should have won, but Daniel Jones's mishaps. But at the same time, who are we to stay in a game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, that's why I was like, I could see where he's coming from. This is a team that's probably going to and winning the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And we were a 2-point conversion from going overtime with them. And who would have knows what would happen after that, right? So, Colin Cowherd convinced me, and I was like, damn, this team is really going in the right direction. And, and both the guys said that, Stephen A. and Colin Cowherd, that this team has a great future ahead of themselves. And that tells me that, man, the Giants, I don't like moral victories. I don't think anybody likes moral victories, but this is a moral victory for the Giants. They're feeling good. They're saying, in the locker room, I'm pretty sure they're saying, we held it close. We fought out there. We gave it everything we had. Unfortunately, we didn't come up with it. But damn, we almost beat a 5-2 team.
Right? I understand that. I'm glad to see that you understand that now as well. This is why I said if Gelman magically has another year, just shut your ears to the fans because they don't understand that and they do not want to hear that.
Exactly. So that's why I'm thinking more and more. I might raise up my score prediction. I said 23-15. I'm thinking we might steamroll the Washington
now you're getting into that territory of how you were feeling before the 49ers game.
Yes, I know. And I always say I'm done with this team. It's like a cycle. It's just an ongoing cycle. I'm probably going to get heartbroken next week, but I'm going to come back strong.
It's funny you bring it up. After the Philadelphia game in my reaction video, I'm like, I am in a toxic relationship with the New York Giants.
I just keep coming back. She keeps beating me, but I keep coming back. I got scars all over me, man. Oh man, but that's what the Giants do to me, man. And I'll always say I'm done with this team, but I keep coming back like 2 days later, and I'm like, man, I love this team too much, man. I constantly wearing their shirts, wearing their freaking merchandise to work, So I'm constantly representing them, and it sucks to be a Giants fan right now, but I'm in it. Listen, how satisfying will it be? And I know even Cleveland fans have been saying this for a long time. How satisfying will it be for us to suck this long and us to stay loyal, and then it actually pays off, and we're a championship contender? We thought we had that in 2016. We thought we did, but to no avail.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna keep going back to my master plan for the offseason, whether you want a new quarterback or not. Finish the defense, fix the offense, because I really think you finish the defense, which is just 1 or 2 pieces away. And you can't completely fix the offense, or maybe you can. Who knows? If you got a magical GM, you probably fix the problem of weapons and protection. But you could fix at least one of them, and we're contenders next year just because of how hard they're playing right now. But that's just my personal belief.
Yeah, and right now I feel like we're the best team in the East, and that's because we're without. In the NFC East, that the NFC East is without Dak Prescott, right? So, but at the same time, next year, looking out to next year, I think we may still be the second team, because when Dak Prescott comes back, obviously, if he does come back, we forgot about that one. We forgot. If he's gone, we're for sure the best team in the East. Because I'm sorry, how does Dallas rebound from that?
Philly negative 60 million in cap space.
Exactly. How does Dallas rebound from that? They're already having head coach issues, and they just hired the guy, and they're expected to go get out a new quarterback. Whether that be, oh god, if it's Lawrence, I
Okay,
will
give them a
kill
good look at
myself.
the T-shirt. They want
Huh?
to know where you got the Giants T-shirt from.
Oh, they want to see it.
Yeah, give them
Okay,
a better look at it.
okay, yeah. Giants got the NY here, little design here. I like the red and white. It's kind of different. Then the Giants, and then the logo again here. I got a bunch of just random Giants shirts with nice designs on them, just different stuff on there. Wear a lot to work, and they clown me for it, but it's okay. But but yeah, I forgot. I lost my train of thought a little bit. Okay, the NFC East. Yeah, the NFC East. Without Dak Prescott, he's probably not coming back. And they still have head coaching problems in general. Yes, they have a good offense there, but who's going to throw them the ball? And then you look at the defensive side of the ball; their defense is terrible. Philadelphia is god awful. I mean, I think they're the basement team this year. They're in the top of the division right now. They might wind up in the basement. I don't know how long they keep on to the division lead right now. I don't think it's going to last long. And even next year, I think Washington is going to be better than them next year. So I think the hierarchy is going to go. Call me crazy. I know how many times I've said I'm tired of this team. Hearthstone Media, thank you so much for the super chat. I'll get it to you in just a second. Let me finish this thought before I forget it. Next year, I think the starting hierarchy, not the ending, but the starting hierarchy is going to be Giants, Cowboys, Washington, then Philly. I think Washington is getting there with Ron Rivera. They're making moves. Call me crazy, but Washington looks pretty good. I don't think they're going to be better than Dallas, but the Giants are playing better football than any team in the NFC East right now. Even though Philly hung close with Baltimore, we're staying close with the best of them. We got blown out in just 2 games, but we're staying close in all of them. But I think the Giants are just probably the best team right now, and I think the starting hierarchy next year is going to be Giants on top, Dallas, Washington, and Philly. Before I get your thoughts on that, let me get this super chat by HSM Hearthstone Media. He says, share the link, guys. Let me jump on. For sure, man. I'll let you jump on. I'll send it to Hearthstone. Are you on Twitter, my friend?
Yeah, he should be on
Twitter. Yeah, I'll get it to you. But go ahead and give you your thoughts, and I'll send the link.
That's another thing. Just like how everybody's saying we should win the Washington game, that I'm not gonna go to it just yet. But I will go to it if once again they follow the master plan of finishing the defense and fixing the offense. Then yes, I believe that, because I said it before you came out with the future rankings. If they finish the defense and fix the offense, I think we are contending because of how close to being contenders we are this year within our own games. We're contending within our own games. We're not contending within the NFL. But you add those last couple pieces, I think we're contending in the NFL, and maybe we do end up at the top of the NFC. Yes, I don't know. I'm not ready to say that yet, but I do think if they follow a certain path, because let's keep it real, there's still a very real chance that everything still gets blown up, and then bam, we're back to square one.
Yeah, and that's just me being optimistic, of course, and the Giants could just suck still again. But yeah, I honestly think the Giants, if everything goes right, if we keep our momentum. To be honest, who really has a momentum in the NFC East if it's not the Giants? Who really has it?
Well, right now the Eagles do.
No. Right now they're in the lead, but are they playing good football? They're not really.
They're not playing good football, but they are winning games.
Yeah, they are somehow winning games. But Carson Wentz looks like a bust. The guy looks like after he got his contract, he's just terrible now. So. HSM, if you hear me, man, it's on Twitter on DMs.
Yeah. We're not gonna put it in the comments, bro, because then everybody could tune in.
No, yeah, we can't put it in the comments, dude. It's got to be private. I'll get Darren Bond. He says, "Yo, Kid Blue, what's going on, man?"
Mikey C also wouldn't know good for Dallas and Philly are getting old. More so, Philly is getting old, and Philly's just cap space situation is getting worse by the minute. Dallas is just getting worse. And to get back on the Dak Prescott thing. I've been saying for months now that I think he's gone ever since they franchise tagged him for the second time. Remember, this is the second year in a row that they franchise tagged Dak. Me personally, I was like, if I was Dak, I would feel disrespected and I'm leaving in free agency. I can't think of a reason why he wouldn't feel disrespected and wouldn't leave in free agency after that. But then with his injuries, I don't see a way that Dak gets that contract from Dallas after his injury. That's why I'm like, he's gone, bro. I want him to go to the Bears.
Yeah, it'd probably be better if he goes to the Bears. Hartshorn Media is in the building, and he just had a comment as well saying Wentz has more turnovers than DJ. Yeah, and by a large amount, right?
Listen, Wentz is a worse fumbler than DJ. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
this year he's a worse fumbler.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's got more interceptions and more fumbles. What's going on, Hartshorn Media? If you guys don't know, if you guys don't know Hartshorn Media, make sure you guys subscribe to him. He makes all kinds of content, including some Giants content as well. Yeah,
it's what his name says. He's just a media channel. He's not a Giants channel. He's a media channel.
Yeah, very good stuff too. Very good stuff. What's going on, man?
Man, listen, you guys speaking my language. I hope you can hear me. I'm not usually have headphones on, but I got them on for some reason tonight.
You good? Yeah.
You guys are definitely speaking my language because I just did a video and I kind of looked at it and I'm like, I was very optimistic going into the Bucs game, even though I slated us to lose to them before the season. No, actually, I picked us to beat them because I didn't think they were going to be this good. I didn't think the Bucs was going to be this good. We had their number. We had that game, another game that we really had. And even after the loss, we have so many positives. It seems like to take every single game.
Yeah.
We just can't seem to get everybody playing good in the same game.
Right.
So think, last game, right? Daniel Jones is playing lights out. Evan Ingram drops 2 passes, right? Dropped the touchdown, dropped another pass, caused interception. This game, everybody's playing good around him. He overthrows 2 guys, 2 interceptions. And the bad thing about Daniel Jones' interceptions are they weren't poorly thrown balls. They were balls that shouldn't have been thrown.
At all, right? At all.
Yeah, they were balls that could have easily been thrown away. They were supposed to be thrown away. So it's not like he threw a bad ball. He threw a ball he shouldn't have thrown anyway. That's coachable.
Yeah, I'd argue this. They weren't on 3rd down. Just take the sack. Just take the sack.
Yeah. One was 2nd and 5. Yeah, like the one was 2nd and 5. It's like, dude. So I look at that. That's coaching. Now the 2 worst throws were the misses. The misses were worse than the interception.
I said that in my reaction video. I'm like, I don't care about the interception. I'm angry that he's overthrowing Slayton 4 times and 1 time was in the end zone.
Yeah, and that's what really cost us the game because even with the 2 interceptions, our defense has played enough to still give us a chance to win the game. We were still winning. So it's just like I'm seeing, teams got to respect our defense. Who thought after the way we played last year, we would come into this season and halfway through the season and say, teams got to respect Giants defense.
Yeah, right.
Especially when we went offensive line number 1.
Yeah.
And instead then the guy we draft and the guy we draft number 2 gets hurt. 2nd round. He's hurt.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny, even though I did like the Xavier McKinney pick, seeing Whitfield on the other side, starting and balling out of control for the Bucs this season. It's kind of like,
I'm like, yo, we could have had a great safety versus safety matchup, the rookie safety.
Man, it's
everywhere.
But now McKinney might come back from injury and be the guy we hope him to be.
I hope so.
Then it doesn't look as bad. It just looks bad right now because Whitfield is playing really good. Now he is on a better team, but he's looking really good. You know what I mean? And then they have to, to play against us, the guy that we kind of passed up on. A lot of teams passed up on, but we passed up on him. And it's just like the defense, man. Blake Martinez is playing out of control. Kyler Fackrell was getting pressure. Leonard Williams. It's bad that Leonard Williams is playing this good.
Yeah, you're right.
We got to pay it. Like, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do? Trey looks a lot better now, but now we got to pay the dude. So it's just like, man, they give us and they take us away. They give us the hope. Alfred Morris, I like being able to get him signed on the practice squad, off the practice squad, into the game, productive this.
What was so weird is that I didn't even know we got Morris off the practice squad until the game started, and I saw 41 more. I'm like, when did we elevate him?
We just signed him to the practice squad. 2 weeks ago. It was like we just got him ready to play. He was productive. You know what I mean? Alfred Morris he's been baffling to me his whole career. Remember, he had that great rookie season. Because I think his rookie season was RG3's rookie season, right? Wasn't it Alfred Morris? When they were like,
has he been in the league that long? I don't know.
Oh,
yep. It was him and RG3, and it was like they both almost won the rookie of the year.
Yeah,
and then after that, he was just nowhere. And when they showed his career stats, it doesn't make sense why he hasn't been in the league. He's averaged 4.3 yards a carry. You know, he's got like 4,000 rushing yards in his career. He had like 13 rushing touchdowns rookie season, and his career just went nowhere. Weirdest thing in the world. I don't know what happened to the guy. I don't know what it was.
Washington always finds good rookie running back. I mean, look at Gibson right now. He's a good rookie running back for them.
Washington fucked their career up. Excuse my language. like Washington is the NFC Jets. Or the AFC Browns. They will mess your career up. And that's why I did a video. And I'm gonna let you guys talk. I just like was watching. I want to jump on real quick. But I did a video about, I don't know, a few months ago when I wish I could remember the ESPN analyst said before the season that not only was Sam Darnold better than Daniel Jones, that he had a better chance for success. And I just thought that was a joke because I'm like, Sam Darnold plays for the Jets. There's no way you can convince me that anybody playing for the Jets has a better chance at anything over anybody other than like a Cleveland Browns quarterback.
Because the Jets right now are worse than the Browns at their worst right now, bro.
Exactly. But and the Jets are the Jets.
I actually want to get your opinion on what I was saying, which is whether you want a new quarterback or not, the move for this offseason should be finishing the defense, not fixing it, because the defense is fixed. Finishing it. So get that pass rusher in free agency, the outside linebacker pass rusher in free agency, get a linebacker or cornerback in the draft, and fixing the offensive, the offense in the draft. Whether you want to tackle line again, personally, I would tackle a weapon, which is probably going to be the smart thing to do. What do you think about that? Fix the offense, finish the defense, and then this team is set with the way we're playing right now.
First, I'll say this. Fixing the defense, you know, Monday morning quarterback or hindsight and all that stuff like that, man, the defense will be fixed right now. That Yannick Ngakoue, you know, kind of not going for him in free agency. He's got about 6 sacks on the season, looks solid. He's already been with 2 other teams now because Jacksonville got rid of him, and then he just made another trade to Baltimore. We could have had him. That would have gave us that pressure off the edge because right now we're getting so much pressure up the middle, but we're only getting pressure from Fackrell here and there on the edge. If like you said, we had that other edge rusher, we'd be really solid. We get some guys back from injury, we'd be really solid. And then, man, Jason Pierre-Paul has just been lights out ever since he hasn't been with us, and we could have got him back for cheap. But that's a whole nother story. So I like what you're saying. Finish the defense. But this is the thing about finishing the defense. We're going to be picking. I mean, if things stay the course, I look at best case scenario, we only win 6 games this season because I don't think we'll beat Seattle. I know we're not going to beat Seattle. I think we got a shot at the Cardinals because even though they are better than us, we can beat them.
Yeah.
I say we beat the Redskins twice. We beat the Cowboys and we beat the Eagles. So most, that's 5 wins.
We're losing against Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Oh, we still got the Bengals. That's right. That's a good one. Maybe that's the one that could see us at 7-9. 7-9. Maybe the Bengals game could get us to 7-9.
Is
which could win us the division.
Yeah.
With the Eagles with the tie and the Cowboys not winning another game. Cowboys might not win another game. Like realistically, that third string quarterback looks really bad. I don't know if Kaepernick's available. But let me get back on topic. So now let's go to the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Say we continue where we're at now. It makes no sense of like tanking for Trevor because we're never gonna have a worse record than the Jets.
Right.
They might not win a game.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll be drafting the second quarterback off the board, and that's no other guy is worth getting rid of Daniel Jones. If for some crazy reason, if for some crazy reason we had the number 1 pick, I still believe we should trade it because it's 4 other teams that won a quarterback this year, and we could get the moon for the number 1 pick. So if we're not drafting number 1, we're not getting a quarterback. Like, do you go defense with your top first round pick, or do you go defense second round?
That's what I'm doing. I'm not going defense because there's absolutely no defensive player except for maybe Patrick Surtain, who's a cornerback, and we don't need that top.
You don't need no quarterback.
Quarterback number 2. So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna try and trade down and then take that wide receiver. If for some reason we can't take that wide receiver, I might bite the bullet on taking Jamar Chase that high. I might bite the bullet, but I'm not taking defense first round because there
What
ain't no
about we
pass
just
rush in this class either.
I
if we
wouldn't
have
want
like
to.
the third pick, if we have like the third pick and we trade down just 2 spots, we could still get a lot of picks and still get Jamar Chase. You know?
Yeah, I just don't want. Is a couple of picks that I'm afraid of high. I don't want a receiver in the top 10. So when we're in the top 10, I don't want us to draft a receiver. No, is no need because that doesn't win you championship. Like top 10 receivers don't win you championship. So I don't want a receiver in the top 10. I don't want a corner in the top 10. The only thing I want in the top 10 is a lineman, offensive or a top edge rusher.
But so there is no top edge rusher. So are you taking Penny Sewell then?
Is he a tackle? You know, I don't watch as much college as you guys do.
This is what they're saying about Sewell. He's like the best offensive lineman ever. He has a Heisman vote. That's how good he is as a tackle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was sure of look, I remember what the Cowboys did when they just kept drafting offensive linemen in the first round and second round.
Yeah.
It worked for them. You know, it didn't get them to the promised land. They got lucky enough to get their franchise quarterback at the time in the third round.
Fourth.
So they was able to draft fourth. They was able to draft all these linemen in the first and second round because they had a quarterback already. So we got to take that route, even though I think Parrott has a future, but we don't know unless we see him. I think Lemieux has a future. He actually looked good in some spots in last game. He did get some burn last game. But I don't know. I think it's time for us to just draft the edge rusher. But you say is nobody out there in the top 10?
Nobody. There ain't no top pass rusher in this class that's worth that pick. All the pass rushers in this class, in my opinion, and I haven't looked into them deeply, but I've looked into them enough to know that they're worth like pick 16 and onwards.
All right, so let's say pick 8. Let's just split the difference. Not in the top 4, inside of 10. Pick 8. Position-wise, you got a position to pick 8. And you can't trade down.
Who am I taking? I'm still taking Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is basically the DK Metcalf of this year's draft. That's how good he is.
Okay, so you'd go with the receiver. If he's the first receiver off the board, it would have to be him.
It would be him. He's definitely being the first receiver off the board.
Yeah.
But you don't think he's good enough to be the first receiver off the board at number 5 or 6? We wouldn't be able to get him.
That's where I'm hesitating because I would still try and trade down. Like KB said, though, say we're at 3 and we trade down to 5, we still get a good haul for that, and I'm even more comfortable taking him there. The only other defensive guy I would consider is Micah Parsons, who is a middle linebacker. So that would be a great. He's considered the best middle linebacker in the class. That would be a great duo of Parsons and Martinez in the middle. But with him, is the same thing. I'm like, is he worth a top 5 pick though? I know
for a second middle linebacker.
Yeah, I'm like, second middle linebacker. Is he worth a top 5 pick? Probably not.
Now you got to remember this: all the points you're making are perfect, but the other teams are making these same points. Right. So it'll be like this past year where we couldn't find a trade partner because nobody was moving. Everybody was standing pat. So now, if you got 2 quarterbacks come off the board in the top 3, because the Jets more than likely going to pick a quarterback. Who else stinks right now? If Cincinnati can't seem to win games, of course they're not picking a quarterback. They're pretty decent. They just can't win games.
Right now, it would be the Jets. Jacksonville's around there. The Patriots are starting to trend towards there because they're losing a lot of games.
Yeah.
So probably Jacksonville.
Washington as well.
Washington.
From doing
Washington, if Washington is in the top 3, they're drafting a quarterback. The Jets are drafting a quarterback no matter what. The Patriots, I don't think any scenario sees them being worse than us. I just don't see Bill Belichick and Cam Newton just not being able to win 6 games. Right. You know what I mean? Like, but just say for shits and giggles, they are. Patriots aren't a team that's going to draft. They're not going to draft the 3rd best quarterback off the board in the first round. They're just not going to do that. Mm-hmm. So, if San Diego,
do not forget Jacksonville.
You think so? The only way I see Jacksonville moving on from Gardner Minshew is if they're getting the 2nd guy off the board. Right. I don't see them.
I don't think Trey Lance. Yeah, I don't think Trey Lance goes to Jacksonville.
I don't think they take the 3rd guy off the board. I only see 2 quarterbacks coming off in that top 6 or 7. If the Falcons keep losing, the Falcons will be ready to move on.
I agree with everything you're saying, but we've seen it happen before in 2018.
Yeah, you're right. Teams that will surprise you, and you're right. Teams that will surprise you and move on. I mean, because Gardner Minshew, his job is not secure, and they're in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville do stupid shit like that.
Exactly.
Like,
And you made a good point there too, Heartstorm, with Atlanta. This is Matt Ryan's contract year, and so if Atlanta feels like they want to move on from Matt Ryan, drop the quarterback high, you might see Atlanta drop the quarterback. It might help us out a little bit.
Atlanta's got to draft the quarterback. Like Atlanta, if Atlanta keeps losing games, no matter what, because Atlanta can't make it to the playoffs. They're not going to the playoffs.
Right.
Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, so I know just how silly it seems to happen for them. They always do just enough to hurt their draft stock.
Right. Later, Edward.
And they do just enough to keep their jobs. Like they always do just enough to keep their jobs. Like they'll lose enough games to be eliminated from the playoffs and then win 5 straight games.
Yeah. 7-9, 6-10. You know,
it's so weird. It's so weird that they do that. So again, Matt Ryan wants to finish on a high note. He's going to be playing his ass off. But it's just time for them to move on from him. Julio's getting older. He's always hurt. I think they should have traded Julio on the trade deadline. I don't know why Julio's still on the team.
Rumors now saying that Julio is going to leave, or they're either going to cut him or trade him at the offseason.
I think they should have traded him.
Yeah, they should trade him. I have no idea why Julio Jones is still on the Falcons team right now. I know it's something. Exactly. If you got teams signing Antonio Brown off the couch, Dez Bryant off the couch, somebody wanted Julio Jones. And maybe the Falcons' asking price was too high. Maybe they want like a second. Maybe want a second and a fifth or something like that.
Related, real quick to throw this in there, somebody's going to be asking for Odell too.
Oh yeah. Well, he's hurt though. No, Odell's out for the season.
Asking for him. Somebody's still going to be asking for him.
Oh, you mean for next season?
Yeah, for next season. Oh yeah.
Because you can't trade him now anyway because he's hurt. You can't trade an injured player. So Odell's stuck. Had Odell not got hurt, is another story.
He screwed himself so bad.
Yeah, man. Like he screwed everybody with that.
Oh,
like it was probably somebody. They probably had an offer on the table for Odell.
He wanted out of Cleveland too. He wanted out, so he shouldn't have.
Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. But yeah, so I so in the draft.
The original question with finishing the defense and fixing the offense. What do you think about that strategy? And we were talking about what you would possibly do, but the strategy overall, what are you thinking? I'm
keeping Daniel Jones.
Okay.
I'm getting another offensive weapon. You definitely need. I think right now we need a 3rd or 4th round tight end. We need a wide receiver. You got to give the guy some weapons and then see if he can succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Defense. I think our defense is solid. I think our defensive problem could be fixed in free agency. Like you said, if it's not a top edge rusher coming out the draft, you go sign one. You go say, wait, did anybody sign Jadeveon Clowney yet?
Yeah, he's Titans.
He's on Titans. He's their number 1 right now.
Okay. Yeah. So, when you look at that, I think our defense has shown enough and we got these guys under contract. We just got to re-sign a couple of guys on the line. We got some money to spend on defense because our offense is all young guys who are not getting paid anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually got we're like you said before I jumped on, we're trending up. I literally think right now we are the best team in the NFC East. As crazy as it sounds,
we are 1-7.
Yeah, and people will say we're delusional.
Yeah,
but the other teams are just bad. So finishing, like you said, you made a perfect word. Finishing the defense. We are a solid player away. I think us shuffling around.
I really think we're that number 1 edge rusher away from being one of the elite defenses. We're right on the cusp of being an elite defense. We're just that actual reliable edge rusher away.
We are getting McKinney back and getting an edge rusher. If McKinney is what we thought he was and we get an edge rusher back, that's it. One of our biggest problems is the guys we've been shuffling in and out at safety. Well, Julian Love is looking pretty good at free safety right now. So the guys we've been shuffling in at that slot corner position, that's like our weakness right now, an edge rusher. But one thing I would say about the defense, if anybody's been everybody's been watching the games, one problem that we fixed that was a glaring weakness for us last season, we are not getting gouged in the middle of the field by the running backs and the tight ends.
Okay,
by the tight end. By the running backs and the tight end.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah. In the slot, we're getting killed. That's why we're giving up so many, 3rd down possessions. But the tight ends, if you look at the numbers at the end of the game, you're not seeing running backs catch 60, 70 yards worth of balls on us. You're not seeing tight ends.
Heartstorm. That's because of my guy Blake, bro. I called
Busy Blake.
I called that Blake.
Yeah.
When everybody was doubting him, I'm like, he's gonna be the middle linebacker of the future, guys. Trust me.
I was like, how could he not? How could a guy have 144 tackles 3 years straight on a playoff team and then come to us and people say, oh man, that's a bad sign. And I'm like, oh, well, he was just a system guy. You don't systemly get 144 tackles.
Yeah.
I dubbed him Sir Busy Blake. I think I jumped in your live stream.
You did.
I jumped in live stream. Busy Blake, man, because it seems like he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Yeah. So, yep.
Are we
on Busy Blake?
Logan Ryan? Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zach Phillips, for another $2. I don't know why I showed up red here, but
$2.99. For some reason, it doesn't. It stays a long time.
Yeah, okay, that's weird. But okay, it said, are we keeping Logan Ryan? Not for the contract. I think it's fair to say Logan Ryan's been decent for us, but I don't think he was worth $7.5 million.
Yeah.
So I think we could have used it on the edge rusher, right?
Unless Logan Ryan balls out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
If we're re-signing him, it's not going to be a $7 million deal.
He started off pretty strong. He was I think he has a forced fumble or two already, and he was, starting to, get the ball out. But he's been relatively silent so far in the past, 3 or 4 games now. It's really like, Julian Love and Jabril Peppers out there.
Once Logan is playing a lot of cornerback. Once again, going back to we're still getting gouged by slot receivers. Yeah. I can't look at the tape. KB, I'm gonna need you to look at some tape, bro, and be like, when we're getting gouged by slot receivers, is Logan in the slot or is he playing safety? Because that does matter.
I saw him a lot, high with Julian Love, and they put Jabril out there playing like a
sub linebacker.
Sub linebacker just roaming around, trying to, they let the one thing I do notice that they let Jabril Peppers do whatever the hell he wants. Like since
he came back from his injury, he's been better.
I guess he's I guess he earned that respect already, but they let him go wherever the hell he wants to go. I mean, he's free roaming like Landon Collins used to do. So, one question I wanted to ask you, Heartstorm, was, it seems like you're very confident in Daniel Jones. That seems like a breath of fresh air, as we've been trying to defend Daniel Jones for weeks now against, Tank for Trevor guys. What are your thoughts on Daniel Jones right now? Where does he stand right now with you?
Yeah. First, I would say I like Logan Ryan as a locker room guy. If we could bring him back for less money, good signing. I think he likes being here, so hopefully that could work out. Hopefully we have some wins and then make someone to stick around longer. I think he's a great locker room guy. And like I said, we get some secondary pieces. It'll gel better together.
He's also straight up a Joe Judge guy. I want to point that out too. He's just a straight Joe Judge guy.
Yeah, and he's from either New Jersey, New York, one or the other. So yeah. So the thing with Daniel Jones, where I've been giving Daniel Jones the benefit of the doubt, is the reality of the situation. A lot of fans, a lot of us can't see the reality of what he's faced with. He was throwing a guy's name, what is Ratliff and Board early in the season.
Yeah.
You lose your starting running back who caught 90 passes from you let's say Eli played a couple of games. Saquon Barkley caught about 60 passes from Daniel Jones last season. Even though he was hurt, he still caught about 50, 60 passes from him last year. You got the tight end who is heavily featured in the offense, which I'm still baffled by because Jason Garrett didn't have a tight end like him. So maybe Jason Garrett always dreamed of having a tight end like Evan Ingram because he wasn't running tight end the rounds and, Jason Witten and shit like that. So I don't know where this comes from. But anyway, you got the tight end that's heavily featured in offense dropping balls. And this is just not last week. It's been all season.
Right.
It's been all career.
All his career.
Yeah. So, you got Darius Slayton had a couple of iffy games here, whatever. When you look at what he's been dealing with, he's got a left tackle on his blind side who's given up the most pressures of any left tackle in the league. You got a right tackle who's almost a turnstile as well. Now, even when you're not getting pressured, the clock in your head is different from a normal clock because you feel like you may be getting pressured. Yeah. And I think that's hurt Eli the last 3 years of his career. His mental clock was completely off because he didn't even have confidence that he can just not look over here.
Here's where I'm going to rebut you. And it's not even me rebutting you because I'm off the Daniel Jones train. Kid Blue knows this. Everybody knows this because in my video I said I'm not off it yet. I am close though. But I'm still supporting Daniel Jones because I said that he was one of the only reasons on offense that we're still in half of these games that we're in. It's just that this was the first game where he was the reason we lost. But here's the thing. There are very big concerns. Everything you said is valid, and I agree with it. Here's my problem with Jones and why I went from like this was the gap of me hopping off the train. It's basically non-existent. Now me going to this, right? This is the reason. He cannot read NFL defenses fast enough. And that's not your internal clock. That's just decision making. He's very slow when it comes to making decisions in the pocket. And his biggest problem is not his turnovers, but what leads to his turnovers. Like you said, he should have thrown those passes away. His decision making is probably the worst of any starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he's looking trash.
Especially when it comes to him staring down his number one wide receivers.
Let me say really quick to interject. You are right, because 4 of his interceptions this year have all been balls that should have been thrown away. One he actually did try to throw away in the back of the end zone, which wasn't even an interception. So that is bad. Yeah, like that is beyond bad.
To Jaden Dawkins, I said he's been one of the reasons on offense, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. Clear the earwax out of your ears, bro. To get back to the rest of my stuff, yeah, the decision making, staring out his number one wide receivers, which feeds into why he's throwing a lot of interceptions. That first interception to last night, for example, the corner Carlton Davis just bit on Daniel Jones because he knows DJ staring down his receiver, so he just bit on him. And not only that, couple of throws that he's making while he's staring down his number one, his number 2 or 3 read is wide open down the field.
When Slayton, that touchdown that Slayton was wide open and he rolled out, he did roll out prematurely. And again, I think that's one of them when you feel the pocket collapsing. He rolled out prematurely. Would he been able to make a good? Slayton was so wide open, it was blown coverage. Coverage. Slayton's on a fly route straight up the field, and Daniel Jones is over here. I don't remember if he got sacked, if he threw it in the dirt, or if he threw the 5-yard. That might have been an interception. I think he threw the interception.
That was the interception, yeah.
That was the interception on a play that Slayton was wide open. And I was like, how did he not get over? Like you said, that was a progression thing. That was a progression thing. The pocket hadn't even collapsed.
It was literally just him not going through his progressions.
He didn't go through his progressions, and Slayton was wide open, and he had to throw in the pick.
That's why I'm like I said, I'm still on it. But there's a reason I went from not even considering jumping off to being this close to jumping off, because there are legitimate concerns, and to me, some of those aren't coachable. Your internal decision making, a coach can't fix that. How fast you think when it comes to NFL defenses, a coach can't.
That's true.
Fix that. When it comes to going through your progressions, now that's half and half. Some coaches can completely fix it, get out of the way. Sometimes it's just a bad habit. A habit, the person themselves got to fix it, right? Yeah. And then, of course, there's a couple other things, but those are like the 2 main ones that up until this point, it's like, damn, you really still got these problems?
Yeah. Yeah, he's shown us a lot of flashes. I mean, especially what he's doing with his legs. You know, when you see that comparison to the fastest a quarterback is, he ran 21.4 miles. Like, he has the 3 fastest times of any quarterback playing. Who knew, right? Who knew Daniel Jones was the fastest quarterback in the league? Hilarious.
One weird thing, I pointed this out to KB on stream. I was like, yo, we didn't really run him that much this game. I was like, well, after 2 games straight of him killing defenses with his legs, we didn't even run him that much this game.
Nope, we didn't. We didn't try like any read options or anything like that. We keep running tight end around. That's our play. That's like our play is the tight end around, man. It's the tight end flip. I don't know what's going on. That trick play with Golden Tate with the pass was actually really creative. I actually did like that. I mean, trick plays are always great when they work. When they don't work, it's like stupid. Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You just lost 8 yards. Like all trick plays suck.
And me and KB pointed this out. That was definitely a trick play like what we used to with Odell back in 2018. That was supposed to go deep, but Tate knew that he didn't have the arm to make it go deep because the guy was looking in the deep also.
He looked at him too. He's like, no, hell no.
He's like, nah,
and I would say this. The tight end around, even though I laugh about it, it's only not worked a couple of times. Evan Ingram does seem to turn that corner. Yeah, he seems to always beat that DN to that corner. And you always see him getting right by that guy and turning that corner. It seems to always work, except for the time that he dropped it off his hands, which DJ was counted as a fumble.
So bad, yeah.
So yeah, no, his decision making this year is the thing I'm scratching my head about. Like I said, he has 7 picks. 4 of them were balls he should have been throwing away. He's only in my mind.
2 of them were Evan Ingram can't knock out.
And one of them was Evan Ingram tip off his fingertips. 2. You're right. Because earlier, yeah. So when I look at that, I'm like, man, again, all of this is in my mind correctable. The other problems, like the reading the defenses and stuff like that, going through his progressions fast enough, he seemed to do well with that in the first season. That's where I'm like, what happened this season? Well, he was getting praised for going through his progressions in the first season. And now this season, I don't know what happened.
I think it's just because he knows all the pressure is on him. First year, there's not as much pressure on him as there is this year because he is the guy this year. First year, Eli is still there. He's not starting, but he's still there. You're not the
You're playing with house money. Yeah.
Now you are the guy. Now you are trying to win. That we pointed this out. He's playing a little too much hero ball. You are the guy, and then he's putting too much, trying to do too much.
Yeah, he's sucking on them. He needs one of those. He needs one of them game-winning drives. It was unfortunate that he almost got it this way.
I point out 2 problems. Harson, third problem, he's the most unclutch quarterback I've ever seen. This dude cannot score in the clutch.
Yeah.
For the life of him. Even in the games where he kept us in, like I said, there's a couple games. The only reason on the offensive side we were in those games, Chicago, the Rams being the most like prominent example, he cannot score in the clutch.
Yeah. It's like we don't have any of that faith. Like because we had kind of 2 chances. We had the ball twice against the Patriots. The first one was like a 3 and out or something like that. And then, the defense gave us the ball back. We get the ball back, and then it's like, oh, well. And he got bailed out. Now, I will say he did extend the play on the 4th and, what was it, 15 or 4th and 12?
Oh, it's Darius Slayton.
With Darius Slayton with the turnaround. Darius bailed him out. I would say that showed a lot of heart. That drive did show a lot of heart. Because he had to make a couple of plays when it seemed like the game was over. He made a good play with his feet. Darius Slayton made a play. I'm like, man, I'm proud of these guys. These guys are playing. Like, not like Darius Slayton making that play was like you're coming back. You still got 5 yards to get the first down. You make a spin move. It looked like he would have gave his kidney to get that first down. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Like he would give his kidney to get that first down, and he got it. And I'm like, man, these guys are playing. And then Daniel Jones gets all the way to the goal line and throws behind the guy. And if he throws ahead, we get that pass interference call. We might get the touchdown, but we get the pass interference call.
Yeah, we'll get the call. Yeah,
pass interference doesn't even need to happen if DJ. This goes back to his reading the defensive fast enough. That play was designed so that Dion Lewis gets it immediately.
Yes,
and I mean,
that was supposed to be a snap throw.
Not only did he hesitate, he then waited an extra second and then threw it late and threw it behind. He threw immediately at Dion, and that's a 2-point.
That was because he was open. That was a snap throw, and he threw that like it was a 5-yard out. And not a 2-yard route.
Every other route is a dummy route because the play is designed so that literally the wide receivers, every other wide receiver is going up and to the left. It's clearing that right side of the field so Lewis can sneak out and get it. I don't know why he didn't throw it to him immediately.
It's similar to the slant play that went off Everett Ingram's hand. Like designed straight to go to him as soon as you get the snap. That is the read. Like that's it. It's no secondary read. If he's open, that's the read. And he delayed on that. He gave us a chance to be in the game. Well, after he cost us the chance to be in the game, then he give it and he take it away.
Yeah. That's really
new T-shirt for the Giants, guy.
Yo, maybe I'll incorporate that to my merch. He giveth, but he take it away.
But he take it away, man.
We'll see what happens. I'm really excited about next week. Hopefully it's a bounce back game for Daniel Jones and the Giants. They're coming off a really, really tough loss, but a really encouraging loss last week.
Yeah, we can't beat the Redskins, man. I'm cheering for somebody else.
Yeah, go Jets.
Yeah, man, something. I need something. Like if we can't beat the,
what are you doing if 2 scenarios here? What are you doing if we beat Washington and Daniel has like a 4 touchdown game? But what are you doing if we beat Washington in spite of Daniel Jones, meaning he has another stinker, but we still win? So in the
man,
what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, if he bounced back and he has one of them Tampa Bay type games from last season. Or one of them Washington games from last season. He beat up on Washington last season. It would be so nice to see him have a 4 touchdown game because he did that 3 times last season.
Yep.
Again, weird. So weird. But if we win in spite of DJ, and if the defenses keep playing like the defenses keep playing, man, I'm still riding I'm still waiting for everybody to get right at the same time because because
we've seen the flashes.
We've seen the flash. I mean, two of those, as bad as two of the throws were in that game, the overthrows, the two that he made were beautiful. The Golden Tate touchdown.
Oh, that was a nice throw.
Was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was another play.
One was
he had some
in the first quarter.
Yes. I mean, the guy's got some touch. He's like Chad Pennington with some legs. He's got a little bit stronger arm than Chad Pennington. He's got nice touch. That's
exactly what frustrates me about Daniel Jones. He's got it. He has what it takes to win in this league. What's frustrating is that he's wasting his talent. Like these stupid decisions. Like, I wouldn't get as mad at Daniel Jones if he was beat schematically. If the defense made an amazing play, acrobatic play, and they disguise the defense nicely, but it's just stupid decisions that could be corrected.
This is the last thing I'm gonna say about Daniel Jones, because this is what I said while I was watching the game. Mm-hmm. If you throw an interception trying to score a touchdown, I can live with that.
Right.
If they pick you off where you're over the middle trying to make a play, if you're throwing, like everybody knows it's always dangerous throwing across the middle. Oh, yeah. If you're throwing across the middle 16, 17 yards and a safety comes out of nowhere, even if you're staring down a guy and a safety grabs it, snatches it out the air, I can live with that. You throwing interceptions on plays that wouldn't even have got us a first down.
Oh, yeah.
You're throwing the ball literally at the dirt. And now, mind you, the interception that he threw low, that was a great pick.
Yeah,
it was a great pick. But dude, even if you complete the pass, what does that get us? Mm-hmm. So somebody needs to take him to like business risk management school.
Yeah,
your risk versus your reward is not lining up. Right. We're in like the game prior with the picks. We're in field goal range. You can't throw picks when we're in field goal range. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, if all else fails, let's kick a field goal.
That's what I was saying. Just, both of those interceptions, I believe both of them were on second down, okay? Live to see another down. I know a lot of young quarterbacks in the NFL, they're scared of them getting sacked and they have to worry about a third and long coming up, whatever. At least you have a shot. A lot of times on these third and long situations, a lot of offensive coordinators intentionally throw the ball downfield to get a pass interference call late in games. Yeah. They do a lot of times. Live to see another down. Do not give the ball away and allow the opposing offense to run up the score on you.
Especially when you're winning by like 7.
Exactly.
We're not playing with house money. We're not up by 20. Right. You're winning by a thread against Tom Brady. You cannot afford to make any mistakes.
Right.
That's why we were uncomfortable up 14-3. I'm like, I'm not comfortable unless we're up 21-3.
Yeah, that's what me and Hope were like. Unless we're up 21-3, I'll think about being comfortable. But 14. We were up 14-3 last game against the Eagles. Against the Eagles last week, we were up 14-3 and we wound up losing. So,
I went into halftime mildly optimistic. I finished the game heavily inebriated. That's what the Giants do to me every single goddamn week.
So I can assume that's not cranberry juice in your glass?
No, this is not cranberry juice in this glass. I've been going through my whole liquor cabinet over here messing with these damn Giants, man. Like, but guys,
yo, I'm put up Cookie Monsters before you leave, Harson. Put up Cookie Monsters. This is actually funny. I know he's trolling me, but this is actually funny, bro. He's like, cut me off. I go to Hunter and I'm soft.
Cut off, dog. You go to Hunter College.
Thing I've ever heard.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Where's Hunter College? Where's Hunter College at?
That's in Manhattan.
Man, oh man, what do you go to college for?
Computer science.
I was gonna say I thought you was gonna be say graphic design or graphic arts or something like that. But that's about the same.
I dabble that in my free time.
Hey, I thought I had Animal next to me. You know what? I almost Cookie Monster, man. Almost bought Cookie Monster. I might add Cookie Monster to my I might add Cookie Monster to the game, man. Because I got an Animal. I keep Animal close by. I might add Cookie Monster to the game. I actually looked at a Cookie Monster, man, and Cookie Monster. I got a channel, man. You could go check out the whole Heartstorm gang, man. You'll see animals there. I keep my my Snoopy, straight off the MetLife blimp. Got Snoopy, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I appreciate that. Thanks for the love, man. Yeah, go subscribe to me. You can easily find me. Just search Heartstorm Media. It's only one me. So you can find me. I do Giants content. I was gonna do a live. I'm glad, guys, you guys took me. You guys took my mind off the election. I didn't plan on talking Giants tonight. I literally was about to go live. Yeah, it's still going. It's gonna be going for about a week. It won't be a decision made for at least a week. And I was gonna do a live talking about that. I do movie reviews on my channel. I got a lot of content, but I'm actually about to do a string of movie reviews because I'm behind. I've been watching a lot of Netflix. Do either of you guys watch the Mandalorian?
No, I want to.
So you see all the Baby Yoda stuff, right? But everybody sees the memes, but a lot of people don't actually watch the show.
Yeah,
so
right.
I got all my merch. You know what I mean? So season 2 has started. For anybody that does watch The Mandalorian, I'm gonna be doing some Mandalorian content, talking about the season. I'm gonna go back and talk about season 1 and start talking about the new season.
Yeah, I'll definitely tune into that because
you gotta catch it, man. Catch the show, Disney Plus, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. But it's been a fun stream, guys, so far. I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up at 11:30, just about. But Hearthstone, thank you so much for joining on, man. That was another. I
appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna let y'all close it out, man. Much love, guys. See you next time.
All right, man. See you.
All right, well.
But for that being said, I mean, this was a great show, fantastic show. We got a lot of topics in, and actually a really good discussion. Especially with me and you in the beginning, and then when Hearthstone jumped on. I mean, I feel like we're all on the same page here. We feel pretty good about the Giants moving forward. We're just all very frustrated right now. We're all on edge right now, right? It feels like if anybody were to look at us the wrong way, we might sock them in the face, but everything's looking good so far. But good show. Any closing remarks, Hub?
Nah, shout outs for everybody tuning in, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody that showed support through the super chat, bro. Listen, y'all kept it going. You know what I'm saying? Even when King Sean, I'm guessing King Sean dipped a little while ago. Y'all entertaining my boy King Sean, the Washington fan, who's always in here trolling and whatnot. Thank you. Even Hearthstone, I'm gonna let you get to that in a second. He even ended it off with a super chat. Shout out to Hearthstone for the $5 super chat. I was gonna say real quick, even shout out to Cookie Monster. He's clearly my biggest fan in here, man.
Yeah, shout out to Cookie Monster. Also a very good subscriber too. Kid Blue knows our feelings. I'm pretty sure we think a lot alike, us Giants fans. But HSM Hearthstone, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend, and thank you so much for coming on, giving some insight on the Giants and in the podcast. So thank you guys so much. It's been a fantastic show. Thank you everybody who jumped in the stream, supported us, donated, and stuck with us the whole podcast. And for the Hub and I, we are gone.